Today is our final day of this inaugural JTA Early Childhood Conference. Our theme has been Right Start, prioritizing early childhood education. And as educators, we do this every day. We prioritize, we get up out of our beds, we prepare for our students weeks ahead, days ahead, months ahead. We collect, we gather, we sacrifice to ensure that our classrooms are ready. And so today, we embark on a new stage of our journey. And our first session will be one that is equipped to unleash in us new, innovative ways to engage our smart minds. Our session is titled Sparkling Minds, Unleashing Little Innovators Through Education. And our presenter is Mrs. Davia Bryan Campbell, who is the CEO and founder of EduHub Company Limited, an educational technology company that designs innovative solutions for educational institutions. Davia is also a project management professional with over 10 years of experience leading ICT-related projects. She recently won the title of 2022 Innovator of the Year in the National Science and Innovation Competition. She is also the founder of Teen Tech Jamaica, Jamaica's technology conference for teens, and the innovator of EduHub Study Smart, the #1 app for PEP. Mrs. Campbell holds a master's degree in education from the University of South Wales, a bachelor's degree in guidance and counseling from the Jamaica Theological Seminary, and a diploma in secondary education from Shortwood Teachers College. She also holds several certificates in information and communication technology, instructional design, and project management. Her experience extends from being a teacher of 6 years at St. George's College to serving as a project manager at eLearning Jamaica and as an educational technologist at Carlong Publishers. Davia is an author for the Carlong Primary Social Studies series and the Oxford University Press Religious Education for Jamaica textbooks and workbooks for grades 7 to 9. She volunteers at Get Safe Online as a Get Safe Online ambassador for the Caribbean. Please welcome Mrs. Davia Bryan Campbell.
Good morning, colleagues. It's good to be here. Let me just try to see if I can get myself situated. So I know we have a lot of things going on here. So I think I got this. All right. See if I got it. It's coming. Okay. Ta-da. Seen it? In the meantime, while that is being set up, we are going to be talking about sparkling minds, unleashing little innovators through early education. And Today, I don't know if I can get a cardless mic because this thing is not going to work out for me very well. All right, now, we are going to go into a journey of curiosity this morning where we are going to be looking at ways, innovative ways in which we can actually engage our students to develop innovation in them. So I want to start by allowing you to imagine something. So just imagine you step into a classroom where creativity, I think they're trying again. No, nothing not happening for me this month, but let me move on. Let me jump into it. So imagine you walk into an early childhood classroom buzzing with innovation. And I need 2 or 3 volunteers because I want you to listen now, you know. What is the craziest, most creative thing that you could possibly see happening in that classroom? So just imagine you walk into a classroom that is heavily based on innovation. What is the craziest, most creative thing that you will see happening in that classroom? The bikes are there, right? Anybody want to volunteer and share? Go ahead, Miss Nicholson. Miss Foster? Go ahead. Sorry. Virtual goggles. How, describe what that look like. Mm-hmm. All right, excellent. All right, anybody else from this side want to share what do you think would be the craziest, most innovative thing that you would possibly see in that classroom? I see a hand. Come now, man. It's too early, you know, too early. Go ahead.
A smart desk, so they could do anything they want to do on the desk.
Woo!
Yes, a smart desk.
That's a good one. A smart desk.
Yes.
That anything that they want
to do, yes.
they can do.
Yes.
I love that. Really love that suggestion. You want that, don't it? You know we can make that. Yeah, man. I'm going to talk about that. So, and just think about innovation now based on the resources that you have. So I'm going to ask that question again. Look at the resources that you currently have in your classroom and tell me what it is the craziest, most, creative thing that you could actually see in your classroom. So I'm going to ask one more time now. So just imagine that you have the resources that you currently have. So you don't have nothing else, just the resources that you have. Tell me what is the craziest, most creative thing that you might see in your classroom. You don't have, you just have what you have currently in your classroom. Think about it. I see you thinking. I see the thoughts flowing. I see Miss talking, you know. Come and share with me, Miss. Tell me what you were saying. All right, go ahead with the mic so that everybody can hear.
We were actually thinking of using the furniture that's there and the student to come to create something.
All right, so whatever furniture that you have, along with the students to come up with something.
Right.
Excellent. Not seen the presentation yet, but I'm gonna jump into it. All right, now, I see another hand. All right, go ahead, Mr. McNamee.
So I would like to see all the classes at my school have the robot where the children are coding, and from the coding they are doing science, language, all of that through coding.
All right, excellent. All right, now I want to share with you a story. So would you agree with me that all of our students are born curious? You agree, right? I'm going to share a story with you with my son. A few years ago, he was about 4 at the time, and we were shopping in a department store in a foreign country that I don't speak their language. So we're in Aruba, and most of the Arubians speak Dutch. So we were there shopping, and this child was there. My sister and I were there with him, and he was there playing peekaboo through the clothes. going through and laughing, and everybody was there. And then there was a moment of silence. Now, when you have a toddler, when you hear a moment of silence, what that mean? Something not right. Something is wrong. So immediately I said to my sister, where is Joel? And she said, I don't know, I don't see him. He was right there. And then we go from 0 to 100 and we started panicking because we know that with his curious mind, he is probably somewhere that we don't know where he is. So we started searching through trying to find this boy. We went, my sister, she speaks Dutch, so she went and she spoke to the cashier and the salesperson. Nobody found him, nobody saw him. And so I started to panic even more. So I went outside, praying that the worst has not happened because he was not inside the store. Colleagues, you would not believe what happened. Anybody can tell me what happened, I'll give you $1,000 right now. He was in the clothes. He was under the clothes, on the ground. All right, one last one. Him gone. He went in the car. All right, let me tell you what happened. So when I stepped outside, and I was looking outside, I didn't see him, and then I looked in the display area in the store, where the mannequins are. This child had a mannequin hand in his hand, holding up inside the display area. Now, if you ask me how we're reaching there, I don't know. The child was inside the store, inside the display area, with the mannequin in his hand. And so we went back inside quickly to grab him. When I went inside, the child just, came out and stood and looked at me very innocently and said, Mommy, this is not a real human being. I said, but if you had asked me, I could tell you that it is not a real human being. You don't have to figure it out for yourself. So that is to show us, colleagues, that they are very, very curious because all he wanted to find out was whether or not this was a real human being. And did he find that out? And do you think that he will ever go back and try to figure it out? Because he already found that out. And so the truth of the matter is that our children are naturally curious. That is how they were made. And so innovation for them is easy. Innovation for them is a breeze because guess what? Unlike us as human beings, their risk threshold is very, very high. They will take risk like it is nothing. You agree? Yes, man, they will take risk like it is nothing. And you can easily figure that out when you say to a child, don't touch the iron because it is hot. What them do? Because they have to find out, because they learn through experience. Now, guess what is the difference between us and them? Is that we have gone through these experiences. And guess what? We are trying to secure them. We have good intentions, because we are actually trying to protect them and we are trying to ensure that our risk threshold is very, very low because we have gone through those experiences. But we have to remember, colleagues, that our students are natural innovators. That's how they come to us. That's how they were born. And we now, as facilitators, have to find a way to bring out the best in them. And don't wonder what happened to them when they are 15 and 16. Or we do it. Because we're trying to create innovators when they are 15 and 16 when they were born with it. So what happened between now, when they were just born and when them reach 20 and 21 and them can't think on them own? Something wrong, don't it? Something is very, very wrong. So let's look at how we are going to actually encourage and deal with these things. So the first point, and so those persons who want to write, my presentation is not up, but I'm swinging it. So the first point that I want for you to note, because I have a question, I have a quiz for you at the end, so I wanted to note them. The first one that I wanted to note is to encourage possibility thinking. So that's the first point. Encourage possibility thinking. So allow students to think through what can be, what could be, what is possible. So the first question that I wanted to start thinking about now and to encourage your students is to think about what they can try that they have never tried before. So you can start out by asking your students, what can you try that you have never tried before? So let's stop and think. I'm going to ask you now, what can you try that you have never ever tried before? I saw Rosemary last night trying to attempt a piece of food that she has never tried before, and she allowed the crowd to dissuade her from, from trying it. Right? But I'm going to ask you what it is that you can try that you have never tried before, even if you're over 60. Scuba diving. All right, good one. Parasailing. That's a very interesting one. Bungee jumping. What that? All right, now, so when we actually start, engaging our students to think about what is possible and to try things that they have never tried before, it starts to bring out their innovation and it maintains it and their curiosity. So you're not too old to try these little things that you just mentioned. Go and try it. Because guess what? Anything is possible. And so we have to engage our students to recognize that any and everything is possible. No, so that is, and there are a list of questions that you can actually ask your students. But before we go into that, the next point that I wanted to do is to teach innovative thinking. So that's point 2. Teach innovative thinking. Now, I have this, a headset. Look good, don't it? All right. So I'm going to ask now. So this is how we teach innovative thinking. So anything that is in the environment, you can actually question your students about it. So remember that we're talking about teaching innovation, right? And we have to maintain it and maintain the curiosity and the natural innovation. So here, what we're going to do now. I want one teacher to jump up. Come right beside me, come stand up. Run, come, miss. Run, come, now, miss. But may have a special prize for you. All right, now, I'm going to answer some questions. First question. What is it that you change about this?
I would need a speaker. I want a microphone here. Yes. The color. Yeah, I want the color to be blue. Yes. Yeah, that's basically that.
All right. Anybody else want to volunteer? You want it cardless. All right. What else? More colorful, pretty. All right. Not so big, it needs to be smaller, don't it? Yes, what else? You want a toy on it? What kind of toy now? Like a truck, a car? All right, good. Some lights on it. So you want it to fold up, because this one it can't carry easily. All right, no, that is the first stage of innovative thinking. Looking at a problem and try to solve it. That's the first stage, of innovation. If you see a problem, you can solve it. So, miss, we're going to solve it. I want you to tell me one thing now that you would keep. So it must be able to do this. The pads, they want to keep the pads, all right? Anybody else want to help her? What else? What are some things that you cannot give away? You must have them. It must be able to make sound, don't it? Because if you have a headphone and it can't make sound, it don't make no sense. Right? So it must be able to make sound. So even though you're making all of these changes, there's some functionality that you must keep. So thank you so much, miss. Oh, no, don't move yet. And I want to ask you one last question. What is the benefit of the change, a major change that you want? Lord Jesus, me say I must shut me things. All right, so what is the benefit of the major change that you want to make? So you said you wanted to change the color. What else you wanted to change again? You wanted to make it, and Mr. Must say cardless. You missed it cardless. All right, tell me why you want to change. What's the benefit of changing the color?
It will be because I'm a blue teacher, I teach in a blue class, and my children have blue blood. Everything we talk about is blue. So when you're in my class and you have a blue headset, you know you are a part of that group, you know. So they would belong to the blue class, yes, right?
All right.
And they'll be able to manipulate it easily.
All right, good, good. Thank you so much. So when we talk about innovative thinking, we're actually talking about these things. So find ordinary objects in the classroom or anywhere, and you start having them think about things that they can change about it, think about things that they cannot change about it because of the functionality of the object, and then look now, having them discuss the benefits of making these changes. So why? So that is the question. Why? Why are we changing this thing? Another thing that you can do is have students use coding. Now, again, today is very interactive, so I hope you have time for us to interact. All right, now, coding, I heard Miss mention about coding earlier, but I just want to put coding in context for you. Sometimes we talk about coding and it sounds like it's up there, so. And nobody can reach it, nobody can touch it, nobody can feel it, because it is on a computer and we don't really understand what it does. It just sounds nice. So my students are doing coding and nobody knows what they do. So to get to understand how coding is, you could use like a coding mat like this one, and that you can actually teach problem solving. So for those persons who can't see it, I hope the cameraman can zoom in so that we can see that one. So sure, you can hold up bits and pieces of it. I don't know if to see if you can zoom in on that so that the teachers can see it. So the coding mat teaches coding hands-on. So the students can actually learn how computers work by just playing the game and by setting up their own coding structures. All right, and afterwards we leave it there so that you'll see how it works. So they actually can do problem solving. So you can actually create a whole problem around the codes and have them solve the problem using the coding mat. So if you want, for example, the robot to move, I never can put it somewhere up close and personal. Miss, can you bring the mat over here? Yes, thank you. So you can generate a whole problem. For example, you can actually ask the robot to go and find a diamond, but they have to cross over the river. They have an emergency, so they will have they have to go to the hospital. They have to eat an apple first before they reach the diamond. And all of that is a part of the coding structure. It doesn't have to be in the exact order. Just put them down. Just put them down right there. I'll help you. So just put it down. Persons might be able to just see how it works initially. All right. You see the start? That should be that robot there. This one? Yes, give me that one. Good. All right. And it will be the students who will be doing this. So we're demonstrating it now because we're adults, but when you're in a classroom, it's going to be a students doing this. So turn right. Hold on, something not right. No, the robot has to follow the commands that the students give it. So, all right, so if the cameraman can zoom, I don't know if he can, but if he's able to. So it is actually following the commands and doing based on what is on the mat. Right? So, and it is also speaking and sharing with them what they need to do. All right? So if you give a command and it doesn't work, then the students have to problem solve. Figure out why. Now here the problem is now. Sometimes when the students meet a problem, guess what happened? Anybody can tell me what happened? when the students have a problem? They cry, they go to teacher, or they throw away the things, and that's fine. Let them cry. Let them throw away the things and let them realize that they've made a mistake, but it's okay. It's okay. Let's go again. No, I had a session with some teachers doing robots. Some students rather doing the robots, right? And guess what happened? Students are there, they're building, they meet upon a problem. Them could not fix it. There were 3 teachers in the room, and the students were building the robot, and they meet upon a part that is very, very hard to do. The most difficult part of building the robot. And the poor teachers could not help themselves. I love teachers, you know, I love us. But sometimes we can't help ourselves. Because guess what? The teachers could not help themselves. They didn't want their students to be embarrassed. They were really, really helpful. And so guess what they did? They grabbed the screwdrivers. And they started to go in and them, let me help you. I had to say, Miss, leave them. It's okay, it's a part of the whole development. That is how they innovate. We have to ask them, why? What is the problem? How can we solve it? What can you do? And you go into all of those questions. Try to separate yourselves. Just step back a little bit. I know we love them. I know we care for them. I know we don't want them to be embarrassed. We don't want them to cry. But that's okay. Let them ball. Let them throw the things down and come back again. It's okay. Because that is a part of how they develop. That is a part of how they innovate. When you innovate, there are several times that you have to do something. You might do it 10 times over. But it's a part of innovation. Because you're not going to get it right at the first go. So you can also create an innovation hour in your classroom. Maybe once per week, once per term, where the focus is on innovation, right? So it can be something that you strategically do, or you can just add it as a part of your regular curriculum, where innovation becomes a thing. Now, another thing that I want you to look at, what happened now? What happened now? Huh? Need to pull back up this? All right, no problem. All right, let's pull back up. All right, now the next thing that I want you to do is to look at creating an explore and take apart station. Now you see some things over here. What you see over here? Those are at the back. You can see? All right, let me take up. This is an old laptop. This is an old remote. Old. Anybody can identify this? DVD player. The younger persons might not know what this is. Anybody under 25 in the room? You know what this is? An old DVD player, right? Anybody know what this is? It's a very, very old laptop. Good. And anybody know what this one is? A goggles, VR goggles, all right, good. It's an old one. And anybody know what this is? A keyboard. No. Oh, this one. Lord have mercy. Anybody shout it out yet? Anybody know what? It's not a power bank. It's a Nintendo. All right, now, this would be an example of your take-apart station. You could also, this is an old remote as well. Now, what you can do to spark innovation in your classroom is to have take-apart stations like this, where you actually have your parents bring in the old fan, the old blender, the old computer, the old phones, and what you do is you have an area in your classroom where your students can take them apart. Now, did you know that you learn more taking things apart than putting it together? Let's think about it. Anybody know how computer work? And apart from the IT specialists who are in here, anybody know how a computer actually works? What if you were to pull down this one? Do you think you would be able to figure out, without going to YouTube, just by pulling it down, or pulling down a blender, or pulling down a mixer, or a fan, you think you'll be able to figure out how it works? That's the purpose of taking apart things. When you take them apart, you actually get new ideas. You actually understand things better when you dissect, right? And then guess what? After you finish dissect, you can actually put it together, or guess what happened now? What if I wanted remote goggles? So I can actually now take these two things and put them together and then get something new. So that is the purpose of the Explore and Take Apart station, where you might have 2 or 3 different things, and you can take them apart and form new things. So it is very, very important. Yes, miss, I see your hand. They come look at your garbage. All right. So
I am wondering if all our garbage that is supposed to work that mind to get it critically thinking, solving problem goes, how are we talking about the fourth revolution, which we are in, which has to do with AI and RM, something there. So I understand that the parent body, the Early Childhood Commission, which governs us, they need to be in a setting like this, who are in the classroom, who understand how our students think, how they speak, and get on roll. Too many of them is office
base. I don't understand.
My grandmother always tell me, theory is good, but practical is best.
Oh yes, and I fully agree, fully endorse. Fully endorse. All right, we take the questions afterwards and the statements. Just hold them. You just endorsing what she's saying? All right, jump up quickly. All right.
So it will not affect us in that setting, but I guess the primary section works different from the basic.
So you can create tables and stations and play boxes. So hold on, all right. So we take all those comments afterwards. So let's just finish up and then we can take the comments, all right? So we can also do prop box or play box as Miss mentioned. So you can actually have your boxes where you can put aside these things, and when it is innovation, or you take them out, right? You can also have your prop box where you can put different costumes in. And guess what? What if career day was not just putting on costumes? Let's think about this now. What if career day was not about just putting on the costumes? What if career day could actually be an innovation day where they solve problems, real world problems in their costumes? So it is not me coming in dressing up as a doctor and I am modeling and taking pictures and getting somebody to talk to you. No, man. Set up the problem. As a doctor, what are some things that would happen in the doctor's office that would need to be solved? And have our little innovators start solving real world problems. This is not a gimmick. This is not a game. If we're going to be doing career day, let us do it and do it good, because it is not just all about the bling and the thing, but there are real problems in these real careers that they can actually solve. And if you ask them, what could go wrong in a doctor's office, I'm sure, without a shadow of a doubt, that they can actually come up with all of the problems that could go wrong, and they can also solve them. And if you were to put them right now in this space, I can tell you, we'll be very, very, we won't be surprised. We will know that they will come up with the solution to the problems. One of the other things that you can do as you create your prop box is to also have a digital camera or some digital device, not to publish them thing on Facebook and YouTube and IG, but for them to do self-reflection. So as they create, remember we were talking about the headphone, and if this were in the take-apart station, have them take it apart, look at it, and then they can build their own prototype. So it doesn't have to be the same, but they can actually build something or draw something to show what the ideal headphone for them would be. Now, when you think about this, you have the students take the pictures, or you take the pictures as they go through the different process, and let them reflect on what it is that they have done. Another thing that we have to do as well, educators, is to publish their work. And I'm not talking about sending home the work to the parents. So I know some persons might not agree with me, but I have to say it just the same. You cannot be creating innovators and send them all of the group projects, all of the projects to the parents to do. We can't do it. It has to be done inside the classroom. You want them to create a tree, why you send it to them? You want them to create the plant, why you send it to them? Put them in their groups. Have them sit down, have them dissect the flowers, have them create the things in their groups, have them discuss the problem, have them come up with it. Don't send home the group, don't send home the projects. May I ask you now, please? Send home the textbook work on them someday. But the things that the students can do inside the class, boy, I mean, I know, but sometimes I see some project come on me and say to myself, then who would I expect to do this? Because I have to do it, because there's no way the child can do it. No man involved me another way. We have to get innovative inside the classroom. Give them the projects to do inside the classroom and send them the little workbook, something them. Let them work together where they can actually do it on their own. So the parental involvement is very important, but whenever there are projects that our students can do to spark innovation, I'm saying have them sit in their groups. Have them work through the problem. Give them at their grade level that they can actually do it. So it doesn't make any sense for you to give them a project that they are not able to do. If you want, put it at the grade level that the students can actually do it. Put them in their groups to sit with their peers. And if it is a house that needs to be built, make them build a house in them big groups. That's how we spark innovation. When you send it to them and the parent go to a carpenter and build a house and come back with it and give them a, we know it go, right? Let them do it in their groups, inside the classroom. That is how we spark innovation. Tell the parents to send them come. Send home the board, tell them to send the board and the cardboard and let them do it. That's what I'm saying, that we have to purposefully do the innovation. We have to purposefully do it. This is not something that we can second guess on. If we really, really need to spark innovation, we have to start it by scaffolding them and getting them to actually start thinking on their own, working through the problems on their own. Now, we are going to unleash your own creativity this morning. I have some things. Now, yesterday when I was going through, I was trying to find some things, some garbage. Sorry. I was trying to find some things that we could actually use for innovation. Oh, let me use the correct word, because my husband was asking me yesterday morning where I'm going with all these garbage. So I said, no, it is not garbage for early childhood. These are valuable resources. So give me the word. These are trashables. And it always amazed when I was going to college to see the early childhood teachers, very well dressed, collecting all of the nice trashables. So I'm going to ask 2 or 3 volunteers to quickly come. And what I want you to do is to think about innovative, come miss, you know you're coming for the prize, come miss. To think about innovative ways that you could use these trashables to come up with a new item. So 3 of you, come right here. And the only thing that you have is tape. So you have all of these that you have here. I need a new item. Out of them, the only thing that you have to do it is just a tape to put it together. So you can use any and all of it. Just use a tape to put it together. All right, so while they're doing that, so let me tell you what they have. They have a basket, they have, and you don't have to use all of them. They have a pipe, something. They have a newspaper, and they have a wheel. And they have to use it to innovate something that is new and something that they can actually utilize. So it must serve a purpose. So let's see what they will come up with. While they are doing that, so you don't have to look at them. They are innovating in the class. They are in their own class. We're over here now. We have to work on our mindset. I noticed when I mentioned putting the projects inside the classroom, we were initially opposed to it, but that's fine. Because we have to look at our own mindset. We have to start with us. We have to see mistakes as opportunities. Must. How many of us break glass? Like you drinking glass. But why when you pick them break the glass to quarrel with them? Let me say it again. How many of us break a plate? We break a dish. We break something. Something happen and we mash up something. We break the phone. But why when the child drop the tablet, we beat them, quarrel with them. But we break it to who quarrel with, you know. We break it to, you know. But nobody is quarreling with us when we drop the phone and mash up the screen. But when them drop the tablet, we quarrel. Because of the expense, but it's the same expense because we still have to replace it. So we have to see mistakes as opportunities. It's okay to make mistakes. We have to get that culture where mistakes is okay, where we celebrate their efforts. So guess what? A win is a win. A small effort is important. We have to praise them. We have to encourage them as we work on, changing our mindset as well as their mindset. We have to provide opportunities for self-reflection. So, asking why, what happened, why didn't it work? Get them to start self-reflecting. All right? So this is what a child's growth mindset is going to look like. So, never give up. Right? Never give up. I can learn from mistakes. These are the things that we want our students to be able to say and to affirm on a daily basis. It's okay to make mistakes. I've made several mistakes. If you're innovating, if you don't make mistakes, something wrong with you. You must make mistakes because that is how you learn from the mistakes. And challenges make me stronger. These are growth mindset example. And me little but me talawa. Me little but me can't do it. So don't let any, we have to change their personal mindset because some of them are not coming from homes where their mindset is, some of them are coming from where their parents say they can't do it and it is I can't. And so we now have to let them recognize that if you make a mistake, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay if you drop the phone. If you drop the phone on purpose or if you break it purposefully, it is not okay. But if it was an accident and it happened, it's okay. How can we fix it? What can we do differently? What happened, white fellow? Can you avoid doing it next time? What can we do to avoid it falling and breaking so badly? Then they will tell you what. Put it in a screen, put on a screen protector, put it in a case, put it in the back, and they will tell you all the reasons. So again, it is to get them back to that place. Now, I want to show a video. Where is my tech team? I wonder if I will get it right this time. Where's the tech? Come help me out, brother. I need some audio. No. I want us to look at play-based learning through STEM. Right? And I want us to zoom in a little bit on the video. So I'm actually going to start it over. And I want you to observe.
Emphasize STEM in preschool. This is called a funnel.
I want you to observe what is happening in this classroom. And I want you to reflect on your practices and see what it is that you're doing that is different or similar, and what can you take away from this video. So it is a little bit more reflective than just, excitement. So I want you to just watch it.
A funnel. What's happening? Because we emphasize STEM in preschool, my students are able to build on their confidence levels when mastering science, technology, engineering, and math. They're able to explore and observe different subjects, different materials, different tools, and be able to utilize those things sooner in life. I have a question. Is sand solid or liquid?
A liquid. Solid.
Under the water. What about the leaf?
At Educare, we knew STEM was a yes for us because we wanted the kids to have some of that language and those experiences of STEM practices.
Let's look.
A few years ago, we received a grant opportunity to bring STEM to Educare New Orleans for the 4-year-olds, and we jumped on it. It began with teachers and supervisors going through an extensive training. We found that the kids loved it. It wasn't over their heads. It was very age appropriate. Several other classes now implement STEM in the classroom. So STEM happens in the classroom through play, actually through the centers.
At such a young age, they're at a stage where they want to see, they want to feel, they want to touch, they want to know what it is. Whatever they're playing with, basically finding a way to incorporate those science, technology, engineering, and math questions. Blocks, sand and water, all of the different centers that we have in the classroom. You're going to build your castle too? Adrian loves to build, and he's really thoughtful about where he's going to put what. He was building a structure and it kept falling over. And he was like, you know what? I'm going to move this structure over to the wall. Why do you need the wall? So that it won't fall down. Okay. The bottom is called the foundation. So did you make sure your foundation was sturdy first? We gave them that vocabulary of foundation and stability and gravity. What's making that big, heavy, tall block stay on top of that little small block? So when you put the smaller pieces, Adrian. Come on, come get it, Adrian. What happened? It started to fall. Why do you think it started to fall? Because of this one, so this one made it what? Lighter or heavier? Heavier. So you think you can't put heavy pieces on the edge or it's gonna fall? All right, there you go. Also, we had Zoomy set up, and Zoomy's really fun.
All right, now I'm going to pause. I'm going to stop it there because there were some very, very good points that were in it. Now, question is, what did you observe in the video? Children were playing, they were learning. She was coaching or facilitating. And that is the power of your teaching and learning. I saw a hand. Go ahead. Right. So the teachers were trained so that they know how to. One of the things that we need to understand about innovation is that as teachers, we have to learn how to do good questioning. You see, questioning is an art, is a skill that we have to learn as educators. I don't know if there's a course, we probably need to create one about questioning. Because questioning, being able to ask the most appropriate questions to the students is critical, because that is how you actually pull. So we have to ask the questions and then don't answer it for them, but allow them to answer and to find the answers for those questions. And that is one thing that I think is lacking in our classrooms today, our ability to ask the appropriate questions that are going to bring out in our students the innovation that they have. Okay. Ah, that's it. That's it. And yes. Ah, there we go. And guess what? There's one thing that I learned when I went to Shortwood. I think it was the first week of college, is that education brings change, change in behavior. And so if we're not getting a change, we know that it's not happening. Sure that it's not happening. So if they come to school and every day they come and it's the same thing, no education are really taking place because there's no change in behavior. And so them bored because we are asking the questions and then guess what? We are giving them the answers. That doesn't make no sense. Sorry. But I see that this team is finished. Let's look at what they have. I have about 5 more minutes to wrap, so we're going to show what it is that this team has. And we're going to also do a reflection because this session is more of a reflective session. I want you to reflect on your own practices. So while this team is sharing, use all of it. All right. I can get them back. All right. So this team is going to share what they have created. So who want the mic?
Good morning, everyone. We have created a trolley here from the pipe, the wheel, and the basket. Yes, we're using the newspaper because the tape is not holding. So we have to tie it up with the newspaper. We roll the newspaper and tie it together. So this is a useful basket, right? A trolley. So in the classroom, even if the children have to move quite a few crayons from the corner, from the crayon box or whatever, they have to move to another area in order to create what they want to do. Yes, we can use a trolley.
We need a picture of it, don't it? Yes, man. May I have my markers, please? Yes. All right, let me get my markers while you can keep the tape. All right, so they have created a trolley in how many minutes? 5 minutes, 10 minutes? Less than that, don't it? They are innovators. And this is what we have in our classrooms. This is who we have in our classrooms. They are natural. I did not even tell them what to do. I just gave them the things and they came up with ideas. And if we were to give our students in our classrooms the same thing, they're going to come up with similar or better than what we have because they have no experience to teach them anything to say that it won't work. All right, so we have the markers. So we have some blank sheets. And we have some markers. If you don't have a marker, Miss is going to give you one as well. And I want you to reflect on your practice as practitioners. I want you to reflect on your practice, right? And I want you to think about something that you're doing in your classroom, the mindset that you have, the actions that you're taking. And think about one thing that you need to do differently. You can write it or you can draw it. One thing that you need to do differently to change your mindset or just to bring innovation in your classroom. I'm going to give you 1 minute to just put it on that sheet of paper. 1 minute. 1 minute, because that is the last activity and we're done. 1 minute to put it on a sheet of paper. Think about what you have been doing in your classroom, what it is that you need to change, what action you need to take, or just what it is to have a growth mindset. Either of those will work. All right? So you have 1 minute to just put it together. And while you're doing that, I'm just going to wrap up with these key points just to reflect on what we have done a while ago, is to spark innovation and curiosity. We have to understand and acknowledge that our students are natural innovators. They were born with it, and we don't need to teach them to innovate because they were born with it. We just need to bring it out, as Sonia mentioned. we need to bring out what the God-given talent that they already have. And you can do so by play-based learning, which is what we would have been seeing. You can also do so by having open-ended inquiry or questions that would pull that out. And you can also create an environment like what we just did a while ago, where we spark innovation by creating the space for them. So bring in the things, get donors, write your grants. I think we did a presentation on grant writing. Write a grant and ask for some STEM kits and some smart decks and some goggles and some regular things in the classroom. If you notice, even in the STEM class, they were using regular things: water, paper, soap, cornstarch, flour. They were using regular things that we already have. And so, in conclusion, I want us to look on and to think about how we can spark innovation in our classroom. And so, those persons who have the paper, I'm going to ask you to just jump up, stand for me, please, with your paper in your hand. Hold it up so that we can see it and we can read it. So, questioning. So, Miss said that she's going to do more questioning. Yes, more questioning. What is that? You're going to bring an ambulance? Good. Innovation station. Wonderful. Oh, they were asking you to go to the microphone so that, right. All right, so, and we can take two more after her, and then we are wrapping. We're finished. All right? We're good with time, right?
I am willing to use the trashable to be teachable. So students will be more innovative, use more play-based learning for exploration.
Excellent, excellent. Two more after her. Go ahead.
Good morning, everyone. So when I get back, I'm going to encourage more collaboration among children, because I realize that some of them are really selfish towards each other.
Excellent, excellent. Yes. One last one. Go ahead, miss.
Here.
Adding to resources, so I'm going to engage the international partners through a proposal that I learned.
Yes.
To get the old goggles, because we don't have that yet, much less the modern one. So they'll give it to me while they keep the new one, and I'll continue until I get to the new ones.
Excellent, excellent. One last one, and then we're done.
Good morning, everyone. One of the things that I want to bring back, because since COVID and the whole COVID thing, we were asked to take out the water and the sand play area. So I want to bring that back into the classroom.
Yes, excellent. Put your hands together. Well done. Put it on, clap them now, please, and thanks. All right, now, colleagues, this is the end of it. And I want us to think about how we can spark innovation in every young mind that steps into our classroom. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your time. It was good being here. We have one more question. And I recapped in my mind all the presentations that went on this week. I'm wondering whether there is some amount of incongruence between what the early childhood principals are telling us in terms of what you shared with us this week and what the early childhood curriculum is asking.
Good morning, all. I just want to add one point of support to what Davia has presented, because there was a little issue in terms of projects, talking about projects and sending one projects to me to get it done or to outsource it so my child can get an A. And I'm totally in agreement with her. I've been saying it, and the schools opposed to it many times, that our parents will get involved by asking parents to provide the material. That's parents' involvement. But these projects, most of them, should be discussed in the class. They sit down, division of labor, collaborate, discussion, problem solving, and they do them. There is some that is missing us teachers, both primary and early childhood. There's something called integrated matrix. And I'm going to ask you, do it as a research, look at the ministry website in terms of resources and type in integrated matrix. Because what is integrated matrix about is when we talk about integrated studies and when we talk about the projects are designed to bring out uniqueness, creativity, critical thinking. There are so many things when you talk about an integrated matrix. If you were to Google integrated matrix again, it shows you what you're doing in terms of these projects, what you're pulling out, what are the active learning, what are the creativity, what are the innovativeness, what are these things. So please look at that, the integrated matrix. Thank you.
Okay, colleagues, we're going to take 2 more questions. So if you could just line up behind the microphone. And we're going to move on to another activity.
Mr. Headley and others, I hear you. But in my classroom, one of the reasons behind sometimes sending home projects is that parents sometimes don't spend time with their children doing stuff. And sometimes that's the only time they do. So in my classroom, for example, we use Class Dojo. So when I send home a project, you have to upload a video of you and the child doing the project, not going to no carpenter or going to anywhere. You have to upload a video of you and the child making that project. So the interaction, the reverse classroom, right? You should know what the child is doing. So of course we can have projects that we do in class, but also parents need to be involved. And that's the only time some of you spend with your children doing schoolwork. And that's the truth.
Go ahead. You have a question for me?
No, I'm
Okay.
responding.
Okay, go ahead.
Good morning, colleagues and trainers. I said good morning, colleagues and trainers. Thank you for this humble opportunities. Now, I am looking at the two things that was said before. And one was the project being sent home and our responses, and looking at the video and what the takeaway I got from that. The 2 opportunities that I see here is telling me that there is one underlying problem that I'd like to pose. One, knowledge, knowing how to do. Parents seem to lack the knowledge on how to develop these skill sets we are talking about and how to help their children to do the project. We know this and we have said it. So the question in my mind is not asking you, but wondering how we can move the parents from that place. Then, because collaboration, parental collaboration is essential, as everyone have said, then from the video, how, the question that I'm thinking about within myself, how can we take this back and implement it if we do not know how to actually do this properly? I know that this is a setting that is empowering us, but the question in my mind is not asking you if you can address it, but I'm not asking that. I'm thinking it out. How can we receive the necessary knowledge so we don't appear to be tripping over ourselves or failing or not able to properly implement. And thank you.
All right, so your question is you want to know the how. How do you move from where you are now to, developing an innovative classroom? And that is going to take time because we are already cultured to be teacher-centered. And so we have to flip the whole process now of how we do teaching and learning. And we can simply start by looking at questioning. And I think Miss mentioned that. If we learn how to do proper questioning, the how becomes a lot easier because then we are not the center of it because we are now asking the students to give us the ideas, the suggestions, and for them to support each other as they build through and as they develop these skills. All right? And research, you do studies, you empower yourself as educators in terms of how you can actually go about. Right, so you don't have to be, as Miss mentioned, you don't have to be an expert at it at first, that's fine. But that's why I asked you to just look at the baby steps that you can actually do now. What can you change now in your methodologies that would cause you to actually start making that first baby step? Yeah. All right, thank you again.
I'm sure Mrs. Brian Campbell deserves a much bigger round of applause than that. Based on your questions, you see the necessity for the implementation of this kind of inquisitiveness and inquiring mindset tool in your classroom. So I'm sure that you will take what you have learned this morning into your classrooms. So it is not my duty to thank her. Mr. Sean Blair will be coming to express our thanks.
Joining Ms. Campbell. So I am much aware, and know my colleagues are much aware that the students that we currently have in our care, they are born in the era of technology. And as a result of that, we are so grateful that you take the time out to enlighten us as to how we can move forward as it relates to innovation and technology, and to allow them to be more creative, coming out of their comfort zone, as well as us as practitioners. They allow us, our students allow us to come out of our comfort zone as well. And so we're grateful for the reminders, and I hope and trust that we will take away something so that we can impart it as we continue to impart knowledge to the students in our care. So we want to thank you once more.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Davia Brian Campbell. Did you enjoy that presentation? Very interactive. You learned a lot, don't? And the creative juices started flowing. So can you imagine the little ones when you start this with them? I also want to thank Mr. Blair. And we are going to segue now. We have a little presentation from a very beautiful little girl who, Madam IPP.
Just wanted to say, Dr. Chin, congratulations to President. Excellent activity.
Yes.
I want to encourage my colleagues that don't be daunted that you have not been doing the innovation, and because you have been. You just don't necessarily have the high-tech activities, but you're sparking innovation with using the low-tech technology that you have in your grasp. And so the conversation continues where we ask our employers to better resource our classrooms, and so we're able to do a lot more with our children who come with the innovation, but we just don't necessarily have all the resources we would like to have to pull from our children and develop them at a particular level. Blessings to you all.
And I hope we will take advantage, as Madam IPP said that. Yesterday we had a presentation on grant funding. So now we can write beautiful proposals to get all these innovative resources in our classrooms. Make sense? I hope we're connecting the dots now. Wonderful. So here's what we're going to do now. So we're going to have a little presentation by Zola. We're going to have 2 of our exhibitors making their presentations. I don't know if you're aware that checkout is at 11. So we're going to break a little bit at 11 o'clock so you can get the chance to check. There's a holding area that they've reserved for your luggage at the front desk, so you can get that done. So we're going to have the presentation. Then we're going to ask Carlong and Book Zone to make their presentations, and then you can go complete your checkout. Please come back as quickly as you can, because the other presenter is here to start that presentation, because we want to get you out of here as quickly as possible. I know some of you still want to go for lunch and go and get another little swim. Yes, so we want to get you out of here as quickly as you can. So let's welcome, oh, and Miss Hunter, reminding you to make sure you don't leave without signing that form. Right? We want you to benefit. There you go.
We have, including, of course, the scholarships that I'm sure you have heard about, and of course, and you will be able to come to other conferences. Thank you very much, sir, for positioning me correctly. Yes? You see the joke? All right. And so, in the event that you have not yet signed the form, I have gotten some, and Jackie has been working with me outside. And so if there are other non-members, please see me. I'm willing. I will lend you my pen. And in the event that you have a challenge writing, I will also write for you, okay? And you can make your mark just at the little spot where your signature needs to be. All right?
Good morning, everyone. My name is Zola Nelson. I'm going to do a poem. Our education is the ladder by F. Robinson. Education is the ladder on which to climb, because it takes education to free the mind, and without it, we will never shine. Meaning will be left behind. It takes education, it takes meditation, and a whole lot of determination in order to get a good education. Learning is nice, learning is cool, so don't you be no fool. Leave out the guns and cotton tools, and bring books and pens to school, for Jamaica to be a better place. This is a true thing. Stop the looting, stop the shooting, and let us join the 21st century phrase, which is computing. Education, I say, is the best and only way to survive in this global world we're living in today.
Give her a bigger round of applause than that. Wonderful. Carlong, are you ready? Okay, so we're going to go with Carlong, and then Stuart from Book Zone will follow next.
Good morning, teachers. My name is Nicholas Bromfield. I am a marketing representative for Carlong Publishers, responsible for the western end of Jamaica. There's also one for the eastern end of Jamaica, Mr. Domian Shorter. Now, I was sent here with a message for you today, but I'm going to break protocol because I have something even more important to speak about. Very short. Quite possibly, my future wife is in this crowd. I'm serious. I was thinking of proposing to your IPP, but I realized that she's already married, so there'll be somebody else next in line. Right? Maybe Dr. Mott. Oh, she's married as well. Seriously though, we want something from you. Carlong wants something from you, and we want to give you something. What do we want? If you are thinking of developing early childhood material, becoming an author, adding something to your future salary, your retirement, talk to us. The person responsible for talking to you is actually in the crowd right now, and I'm going to introduce her. She spoke earlier. The esteemed Sonia Bennett. Please stand, Sonia Bennett, so that they know it. She's our publishing manager and the person responsible for our publications. If you want to develop something, speak with her before you leave. Isn't that a nice Christmas gift for some? All right. Remember, no, I'm single and available, okay? So you can talk to me before you leave. All right. Also, here's another gift. Here's another gift, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not sure if you are aware that on Carlong Publishers' website, carlongpublishers.com, there's a wealth of learning resources, interactable and downloadable activities that you can use to work with your students. carlongpublishers.com. There is a tab called Learning Portals. When you click on it, it takes you where you want to go. So that's the message I'm sending to you today. I'm parting with. Have a wonderful Christmas, and thank you very much. Women here that I'm not sure which one it is. But I have an idea. She does not, but I have an idea. Thank you very much.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. This is ECC, right? This is a fun group. Good morning. All right, we're getting somewhere. So most of you know me, right? For those of you who don't, my name is Stuart. That's my first name. Last name being Dawkins. I have two last names, and I know what that about. So if you do decide to marry me, you end up with 3 last names. I won't top that one. So I am one of the marketing executives at Book Zone Limited, and at Book Zone we are one of the leading partners and leading distributors of quality educational resources across the island, And like Carlong, our very good friends, we are in the publishing business, and we're going to brag and we're going to boast. So I'm going to invite my 3 teachers from, listen man, you see, this is why I like them in there, quick. My 3 teachers from Alpha Infant, and this is their book. Yes, support your teachers, man, come on. So this is their book, and they reached out to us with a vision. It started out as a dream, a little bit of a nightmare, because they antagonized me. Right? Started out as a dream, it became a vision, and now it's reality. Just like these beautiful teachers who stand before you, you have the opportunity to publish your books. So we are in the publishing business, we are in the teacher support business. I'm so proud of these ladies. Hold on, get the good side, come in over, shave over there. My mustache show. So I'm so proud of them. And they wrote for the age 4. You guys are badgering us for age 5. Coming soon. We want to say, we're saying coming soon. So very soon you're going to have another integrated activity work and coloring book produced by our lovely teachers. So please support them by all means. I hope each of you, if not, each school would have gotten a copy of the book. Please take it to school. Today is closing out day. Please come and visit. I don't want to take nothing back to my office, so please come. Yeah, man, I'm going to clear the shelf. So please come and visit the booth. I want you to walk away with something extra as well. In addition to Book Zone, as leading distributor right across the island, we want to ensure that you are equipped with quality resources at all times. So our resources are always top-notch, I want to say. I mean, look at the quality of the ladies we're working with. Not true. Them look beard. Them look fresh. Them look nice. Not true. Yeah, man. And all of them married. Nick, change your mind. These ones are off the market. All right? So, ladies and gentlemen, I won't exhaust your time because I know it's checkout time. But please be reminded to visit our booth so that you can also walk away with some resources that you can take back to school. And please put them on your book list, you know, and invite us to your school so that we can also do workshops with you. You would have been introduced to Devon Headley. He's one of our consultants. So feel free to invite us to your school. And of course, again, if you're thinking about writing text resources, please talk to us. We are more than willing, able, and ready to take on the task. Ladies, congratulations. You guys made me so proud. Awesome job. No, Gita. All right, man, I'm going to give you a 3 book. You don't want it? What's my name?
No one from Alpha.
I tell you about this. You see these teachers, you must put up your hand. All right. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. I want you to give me the name of one of the authors from the Starlight production. Donna what? Donna have all of name. Hold on, you have to put up your hand. All right, I see a hand all the way at the back. Donna Marie Rose. Where's Donna? Donna? Donna say I know such a name. Donna says not Donna she name. Donna Rose. All right, come, miss, run, come. Don't worry, me have more things to give you. All right, let me ask another question. I have 2 more books, don't worry. Another question. An easy question. Let me think of an easy question for you. No, man, that was a tester. All right. I want you to tell me 3 of the titles, easy something, 3 titles, different titles. You would have interacted with them. 3 different titles that Book Zone carries. All about me. Any title. You have to stand up. Yes, stand up. All right, so what kind of group effort is this? Eh? He's the support team. All right, here we go. Tell me one. Come on, what's the first one? You have the All About Me. Uh-huh. The what? The what? Come, you spoil it. Miss, you were standing. Hold on. Hold on, hold on. Are you a lady in the red dress? Hold on, no. This lovely lady here. Reading readiness. Uh-huh. I don't know them in the book there. All right, Miss in the red dress. You ready? Mm-hmm. Plants. The book name plants. 3 titles. Any 3 titles. Any 3 titles. Any 3 at all. Whoa, who said that? Whoa, who gave that clue away? All right, so we had Pam and Tim. What? Starlight and one more. I hear little. Little what? Little stars. Who said little stars? All right, so the lady who says little stars and this lovely lady here who started with the Pam and Tim. But don't worry. Remember, I'm on the outside, so please come by. Yes, Pam and this boy, Pam and Tim. All right, so please come by and collect some additional resources to take with you. Have a fantastic Christmas and see you next year.
until the presenter is ready. I want to welcome those of you who are on the social media platforms at this time. We're broadcasting live on the Jamaica Teachers Association YouTube channel. Good morning to you. My name is Leon Nash, and standing with me is the regional officer for the Western region, Mr. Norman Allen, and to my right, your left, we have the PR chair for the Jamaica Teachers Association, Mrs. Rosemary Thompson Collins. We're going to just speak to the lady first of all and hear from her. How has it been for this conference so far? This is the first for the JTA and first for you. How are you feeling?
To be honest, I feel excited. It is an excellent inaugural conference, and this to be registered under the leadership of the President Leighton Johnson. Excellent move. And what to put the icing on the cake is the expression of gratitude from the participants, how grateful they are for a conference of this type. It's incomparable.
Right, I've heard from the teachers in the conference over the past 2 days. There were some very interesting points made by the presenters, and the teachers, I'm sure, the points resonated significantly with them. For you, what is your takeaway?
My takeaway is really for us to ensure that we give our students the right start. And the right start meaning that we need to put more emphasis on the resources needed to channel in this direction, in the direction of the early childhood education for a better education system in the future.
If you were to go back to your school, I know you're not at an early childhood institution, but there are those that are in close proximity to your institution. What would be your message that you would be taking back to them?
The truth is, we all need to have a breakaway fix-it time, innovative times, that was presented by the presenter Davia Brand Campbell this morning. I think that is a very innovative move for us to implement in the schools so we can assist the children in developing their innovation to fix real-world problems.
Rosemary Thompson Collins, the PR chair for the Jamaica Teachers Association. Thank you so much for joining us on set.
Thanks for having me.
All right, and she makes her way. We are joined now by Mr. Norman Allen, the regional officer for Western Region, and there you have a number of parishes that are in your region, Mr. Allen. Which are these?
Well, we can start Westmoreland, Hanover, St. James, and Trelawney.
Okay, and I know, knowing those parishes, they are far apart, and in terms of the institutions that you have to reach. How do you do it as a regional officer?
Well, it is sometimes very taxing, but you just have to decide where and when. What we try to do is to reach most of the parishes through the district associations and the parish associations. But in this technological age, it becomes even more easy, because once all the teachers in the region have my contacts, they will reach out, and we can reach them through the devices. Because trying to reach them in their locale, you are not going to reach as many as you'd want to. So we use a dual modality. We reach them where they are, but we also ensure that they have total access through the mobile devices.
This conference is happening in your region. As regional officer, must be smiling from one side of the face to the other, eh? Literally.
Overwhelmed, because running conferences is nothing new to Jamaica Teachers Association. We have the education conference, annual conference, a number of symposiums. But if we are going to where we want to get it right from the start, then you have to get back to the foundation. And I'm extremely happy that we have put on this conference, to get to those persons who are responsible for establishing and getting it right from the start. So we can know where they are, go through it with them, and in any way we can, guide them through the process. So it's a wonderful experience, and I trust that it's something that will be happening over and over again. And the West will always welcome this conference.
I was just going to ask you that, if you're looking forward to having it here again next year.
We're looking forward to having it in the West, whether it be Trelawney or Westmoreland. We just want it in the West.
Thank you, Mr. Allen.
You're welcome.
All right, so that's where we're going to be wrapping it at this time. We've got a presenter that's going to be coming up next. I'm going to be handing over to Dr. Margaret Chin and the team. They're going to be introducing this individual now. and therefore we ask that you stay tuned. If you're online with us right now, please share this information that we are having this broadcast being streamed live on our YouTube and Facebook channels. Jamaica Teachers Association is our YouTube, and I would like you to share the information, the program, live share, like, share, and subscribe, right? I've got some people, you would see me going through the rounds, right, and ensuring that I say the right things. Every production you must have, a production manager, and we have a lot of them around here who are giving me some guidance. So once again, like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Jamaica Teachers Association. On Facebook, yes, you've got to send those requests in so that we can acknowledge you and ensure that you are part of our broadcast going forward. So at this time, we're going to be handing over to Mr. McNamee, who is at the podium at this time. He's going to be taking you through the rest of this session, and we'll be moving after this into our debate.
So good morning again, colleagues. Yes, this is indeed an interesting session, and I think right now you should just WhatsApp your friend and tell them, get in here now. This session has to deal with the CPFSA, the Child Care and Protection Act is what we'll be talking about. There is indeed a Child Care and Protection Act, but there is no Teacher Care and Protection Act. Is it time that we think about writing a Teacher Care and Protection Act? Maybe coming out of this conference, we probably can start that, because indeed, in times like these, we really need such an act. To present to us this morning is the Senior Director of the CPFSA, Child Protection and Family Services, Western Region. His name is Mr. Eric Vassell. He serves the region, which includes the parishes of St. James, Trelawney, Hanover, and Westmoreland. Mr. Vassell possesses a Master's of Science in Educational Leadership and Administration from the Central Connecticut State University. He also has a first degree in Counseling and Social Work from the Northern Caribbean University, NCU, right there in Mandeville, and a diploma in Guidance and Counseling from the Sam Sharp Teachers College. Eric Vassell is the past president of the Howard Cook Parent Teachers Association, past president of the Montego Hills Citizens Association, and a member of the Lay Magistrates Association of Jamaica. Mr. Vassell is a motivational speaker, a professional counselor, a mediator, and a former lecturer. He is also an elder at the Bottom Road Seventh-day Adventist Church. Mr. Vassell is an advocate for children's rights. His mantra is creating positive impact, leaving memorable imprints on the minds of our children. He is a father, a husband, a facilitator, and an all-round charismatic person who is kind, caring, helpful, and gets along well with everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Mr. Eric Vassell. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, and good morning, everyone. I would love if I could use one of those roving mics. So is that okay? Good? Thank you very much. All right, so I have been introduced, and I'm here to do a presentation on the Child Care and Protection Act of 2004. All right? Now, the Child Care and Protection Act came into effect run about 2004, but there's some work was done before from 1998, leading up to the Conventional Rights of the Child in 2004, right? And as a result of that, we have our mandate, which is to ensure the safety and the protection of children. And we will see going forward that a child is anyone between the ages of 0 to 18, all right, or under the age of 18, right? And some of the slides I'll just skip it because in the interest of time, right? Now, the Act covers 4 main components: the survival rights, the developmental rights, participation rights, and protection rights. All right? And as you see, we know survival rights is basically ensuring that the child has the basic needs to survive: food, clothing, shelter, that kind of a stuff. Developmental rights, that these children grow according to their, the rate of development and all of that kind of stuff, right? Now, and we also look at the protection right, that all children should be protected from all sorts of abuse, whether one way or the other, victims of violence, perpetrator of violence is in the household, children who are exposed to child labor, and child labor has mainly to deal with children who are under the age of 13. Now, a child under the age of 13 should not be asked to work. However, a child over the age of 13 years old can do menial jobs that will not affect their education or their health. It's not a risk to their health, and it is not going to impact or affect their education in a negative way. All right? Basically, member of the household with persons right. So if the child is in a household with a member who has been convicted of some major crime or stuff like that, we consider this child to be in need of care and protection. If the child is living on the street, in old cars, on the house bottom, all of that kind of stuff, we have to act promptly, right? Destitute, begging and loitering and that kind of stuff, right? Socially excluded, unattached, substance abuser, drug mules, and stuff like that. These are children that we considered to be in need of care and protection. And once we find that or we get the report, we have to act in the best interest of the child. Now, I just said that no child under 13-year-old should be employed, right? And we said that if the child is over 13, these are some of the things to consider when employment is being considered. Now, did I tell you that we're all prescribed the persons based on our job functions? Yes. Once you're a teacher, a principal, a guidance counselor, etc., a social worker, a children's officer, a doctor, that kind of a stuff, you are all in law, according to the Child Care and Protection Act, you are considered as a prescribed person. And as a result of that, we have a mandate to report. Now, the law says, here's what the law says, that if you suspect that an abuse is taking place, has taken place, or is likely to take place, we have a responsibility to report. And you know that there are charges associated with not reporting and false reporting. So you can face a prison term of from 6 months to 2 years, or a fine from $500,000 up to $2 million. All right? So we have a responsibility to report. So if you suspect, I remember some time ago I was a guidance counselor at a particular school, and a child came up to me and said that she wanted to kill herself, right? And we spoke about it, and we got the necessary help. The referral was done to the hospital and all of that kind of stuff. Now, what if I did nothing at all, and the child attempted suicide or something to that effect? And then when the experts come in and start to talk to that child and say, but we know that when somebody is considering suicide, they normally either leave a note or talk to somebody and stuff like that. What if the person is talking to one of these experts and say, say me go to my guidance counselor, and me went tell her or me went tell him, say me go kill myself, and he run me and say, go and go pray. Left out of my office. How can a fool argument this year come to me with? You understand? And then now we have a big problem, because you are going to be the subject of the investigation. You're going to be a part of the investigation. So as teachers and professionals in our field, we have to pay special attention to reporting. Once you get or suspect that something is happening, report it. It is so easy to report now that you don't even have to go into any office. Just call 211. That's the new number, hotline, and there's persons there to answer the phone 24/7. You can call from any network. It's not going to cost you anything at all. Just dial 211, all right? Somebody's always going to be there to accept your call, receive the complaint, and we act expeditiously, all right? Now, I just told you that we should report suspicious case of abuse. Who else can report? Not only us, but anybody, community member, have a legal responsibility according to the law to ensure that the rights and the well-being of the children are safeguarded. The truth is that what we find happening is that sometimes the same persons who are entrusted to protect the children are the same persons who are committing all sorts of atrocities towards these children. So as upright members of our communities, we have a responsibility too to educate our communities to the fact that they have a right to report, right? Good. Now, the police can also accept reports. So if you call 211, and if you go to one of the CDA offices, and we have an office in every parish, right? If you go to one of the offices and you are not getting through for whatever reason, you can contact the police. And the police is also mandated by law to accept the report. So they will receive the report, they'll investigate the report, they will arrest. Let me quickly tell you that CDA don't arrest anybody. All right? We don't. We have nothing to do with the perpetrator. We deal solely with the victims, the children, the child. All right? So all we can do and all that we have powers to do is to act on the best interest of the child, which the law gives us power to remove a child out of danger. All right? And the police also does referrals and also lay a matter before the court. And that's where their work stops. So where the police work stops, that's where CDA work comes in. We pick it up from court. We do the second leg where we do the investigations and we do the placements and all of that kind of stuff, right? So we take it from there. Now, the advocate is also another agency that works on the behalf of the children, and they are the legal arm of the whole child protection system in Jamaica. They also accept reports. So if we know that something is happening towards a particular child, an adult to a child or something to that effect, the advocate, we can contact the advocate and they will ensure that the rights of the child is also enforced. They also investigate and they investigate complaints of abuse. And as I said before, they are the legal arm of the child protection system in Jamaica. Now, well, the CDA, now CPFSA, we are an amalgamation of the Children's Services Division, Adoption Board, and the Child Support Unit. We all came together and formed one agency, the CDA, and now the CDA has evolved into the CPFSA. Good. Now, this is just for information purposes that the CDA or CPFSA is a government agency presently mandated with a responsibility for administering the CCPA, which is the Child Care and Protection Act. So we are the advocates for the CCPA. So now I just want to let you know that the Child Care and Protection Act is now being amended to say that Section 24 of the Act is being amended. Normally we would, a parent or the police officer or some other person can put a child before the court for being uncontrollable, and then that child would be placed at a remand center. Now, the law is now being amended to say that a child should not be labeled as uncontrollable. What that child has behavioral issues, behavioral challenges. Now, the law is going to, when it comes into effect, those children who would normally be uncontrollable would come to us for us to treat with them as having behavioral issues. So basically what they're saying is that you can't send a little man go to prison or a girl a youngster to, a juvenile correctional facility just because they have behavioral problem, because they never actually committed a crime. All right? So yes, the law is being amended and will be updated as time progresses because, changing law in Jamaica takes a little bit of time. So this is just the vision and mission of the CDA. And we take proactive measures to safeguard children from becoming at risk. And on the reactive side, we provide appropriate interventions for those who are at risk from becoming neglect and abuse. All right? This is just telling you that we receive reports of children who are abused, neglected, abandoned, orphaned, whatever. We do the investigation, we do the reports, we present the court with the report, and the judge makes a ruling based on the report that is presented to the court. So yeah, we said at the court, we do the investigation, and the judge is at liberty to make a decision as to what is the best outcome of the report. We treat with foster care, we treat with children who are placed in facilities where the agency in Jamaica that deals with adoption and also with family reintegration. This is just outlining what we do from start to finish. We do the intake, we do the screening, we do the investigation, we assess the family, we do the court reports, we do case planning and management, we service, provide service, and we close the case as needs be. Now, this is just a thought here. Happy children make productive adults, brighter Jamaica. Have you created the right environment for our children? And this is a question that all of us need to ask ourselves. In our spaces, are you creating the right environment for our children? Our children are uniquely poised for greatness. And we need to start to think of our children as having the potential, the capacity for greatness, right? Given the right conditions necessary for growth and maturation. I just hope that in each of us, in our spaces, we'll do our utmost best to ensure the safety of all the children that are placed in our care. Thank you very much. And if you have any questions, feel free to do so at this point.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Vassell. We'll take 2 questions. We have time for 2 questions. Get to the microphone, please. While you get to the microphone, I'd just like to ask Mr. Vassell. I sit on a board for a children's home, and most of the time, when the children are taken from their comfort zone and they are placed into their homes, they become discombobulated. They are not satisfied because they cannot understand why it is that they are the victim and they are taken out of their comfort zone while the perpetrator is still out there in the home enjoying life.
Can I say that I wish I had the answer to that question? That's just the honest answer. A father or a mother who is a perpetrator gets to stay in the house, and the child who is the subject of abuse is removed and placed in an uncomfortable, unfamiliar environment where they have to unlearn some of the values that they had and relearn some of the values. And might I say, some of the values that they relearn is really not the best. All right?
Yes, good afternoon, sir. You spoke to false reporting and being charged for false reporting, but then you also said if there's suspicion, you need to report. So could you speak some more to the false reporting?
All right, so can I just quickly let you know that there are some persons who are just mischievous, and just want to create problems. Now, if it is investigated that that is so, and that is strictly the police thing, right? It's not us. I have never heard of anybody being charged with that crime, though. You understand? Because probably it is so hard to prove, right? But what the law is saying that once you have reasonable suspicion, yes, report it. All right? Yes.
Good morning. Sorry to disturb your proceedings, but I'm so glad that your organization is now finally putting into law the fact that an uncontrollable child should not go to a remand center. No, I'm just speaking from experience. Sorry. So I was at Metcalf Street remand center, and the most frightening thing is to see someone walking yay high with the likes of accused murderers or accused gang members, and they're coming to what I call a university down by Denham Town. That's a university. I imagine these children are there for us being uncontrollable. And I'm glad that, trust me, I saw it firsthand. Now, they were there with two of probably the most notorious young men in Jamaica at that time, but I was there. And it was so frightening to see that these young men are just here because they're uncontrollable. So I'm glad, I'm looking forward to that law. Hopefully it comes in, because it will be hard for my child to go there because he's uncontrollable. Trust me, so I'm really, really glad for that. All right, thanks again.
Thanks for that. And let me just also add that not only is the law being amended, but the CPFSA has the full backing of the Minister of Education. And we are also setting up safe spaces, therapeutic centers all over the island, so that we add to the cadre of staffing to deal with children who have behavioral problem. Because the truth is that the regular staff that we have, we would need additional staff. And the minister and the ministry is eager to have these centers up and running.
Good morning
Smart.
still, I believe. Just to say, the gentleman just spoke about having a child who is uncontrollable. Isn't there something within your organization for a child just to be uncontrollable? I believe you should have the resources that that child remain in the home, and you have social workers who visit instead of moving them out of the space, because the situation becomes worse when they are placed out of the home in other places. I have seen it. They're worse than what you take them from the parents. So why don't try to see how they can remain in the home and have the help given to them within the home, so that the parents could also supervise them instead of taking them out, putting them in a worse situation.
Thank you very much for that point. And I wish that were the case. The truth of the matter is that you have some that we have to move for uncontrollable, but I'm going to tell you something. 90% of the ones that will come to if uncontrollable, and the mother and father pack them up and carry them come at the office and say, sir, me not leave him, me not carry him back in my yard. If he come back home, me I go kill him. Make sure say you take him, and then walk out of the office sometimes and leave them, and we have to treat with them. You understand? And I tell you that sometimes when they are placed in our facility, the only time we see those parents are when them reach 18, and we have to find them to send them back. You understand? So it is true that we would love to work with the families, but sometimes the families don't want to work with us and don't want to work with the children. I have had personal experience where a little boy, 9-year-old, nine, in break house, in thief, in everything. He would do everything that an adult would do, and you would send him to prison. He's only 9. The father, he lived with the father, and you would have said a boy would, if there is anybody for him to live with, forget that discipline, would have been the father. But that the father carried the boy, come to the office and say, listen, Miss R, me cannot manage this boy. And the mother gone left the pitney for me, and me don't want to kill him. So take him. And he left the office. He left the office. 9 years old. 9 years old. Now, this is a 9-year-old boy who has gotten the name Bulldog. Because no matter which dog you have at your yard, he knows how to tame the dog, get into the house, get what he wants, and go. Yeah, so it happens. It's sad, but it really happens. I was told that it was 2 questions, and we've gone 4 already.
Yes, so
and I know I'm working with the time, and my time is up.
We have to draw the line right here. We know that there's a lot to talk about when it comes to children, because we do have some parents too who drop them off at K1 and pick them up at grade 6. And we're used to it. And when they drop them off at K1, sometimes they are dark skinned. By the time they come back at grade 6, we can't recognize them because they become brown or white. And the hair is more expensive than the one that you see Miss Kitty brandish. So, and a book has not been bought throughout all those 9 years. Sad situation. But guess what? That is why we are teachers. And that is why God placed us in the positions that we are. To say thank you, though, Miss Ophelia will come at this time.
Mr. Vassler, nice to see you, sir. It's been a long time. Let me tell you something about Mr. Vassler. He's a dynamic presenter. He always brings the facts to the table. And he will tell you just like how it goes. You see when I dramatized a while ago? And him me get it from. So, Mr. Vassler, on behalf of all of us, we miss you at school this year. On behalf of all of us, we would like to take the opportunity to present to you this little token for appreciation for coming here to present to us. Thank you, sir.
Good morning once again, ladies and gentlemen. And I see children in the place as well. And for those of you who are online, my role here at this point is basically to remind you that we are live streaming at this point. We are streaming on the World Wide Web. We're on the YouTube channel at Jamaica Teachers Association and Facebook Live as well. So please call up your friends or send them a reminder at this point that we are streaming, and we're asking you to log on and share, click the notification bell, and of course subscribe to the channel. You are now part of this family. Those of you who are working in the early childhood sector, by whatever means. You are here in this room, and those who are not here, we also want to let them know that, hey, we're together for the end of the year, moving into 2024. Want to also remind you, if they are not so inclined to go on the YouTube, they can turn to FM band on radio, 106. That's Power, 106. They are on the outside. They're broadcasting live from here. They'll be here until 2 p.m. All right, so some of your friends will be appearing on that radio station as well, speaking about the issues that we have been discussing throughout this conference. So For those who don't want to go online to watch what is taking place here, they can listen to the broadcast happening right now on Power 106. They have been on from 11 o'clock, and they'll be here until 2 p.m. Please make that known to your friends and family, both here in Jamaica and overseas, that the early childhood sector is large and in charge. Thank you so much. With that said, we're going to be moving into the next segment of our broadcast and our program here at the Hilton, the Holiday Inn. Hilton Holiday, can you imagine? I'll tell you. Right, we have been there so often. Right, so we're at the Holiday Inn in St. James, and we're going to be heading into the debates session at this time. And coming to lead you through, the chairman for that particular session is the principal of a well-known institution in St. Anne, Marcus Garvey High School, Aniona Jones. Let's welcome her at this time to the podium. And of course, she is the chairman of the Professional Advancement and Teacher Welfare Committee. Make her welcome one more time, please.
Ladies and gentlemen, I invite the members of the panel to please join me. So we have with us on today's panel, Dr. Adrian Stokes, Chairman of the Education Transformation Oversight Committee, Ms. Kesia Carr, CEO for the National Parenting Support Commission, Mrs. Carolyn Clark Brown, Chairman of the Early Childhood Committee here at JTA. She is also headmistress, but you see all of this excitement with the pitch to them? She's also headmistress at one of our renowned early childhood institutions, and Miss Sidna Amor, early childhood educator extraordinaire. Listen, we started strong 2.5 days ago, and we're going to end well. Distinguished guests all, I am delighted to welcome you to today's panel discussion on a topic of utmost importance: Right Start, investing in the funding of early childhood education. Now, as we gather here today, we are brought together by a shared recognition of the critical role that early childhood education plays in shaping the future of any particular society. Now, early childhood education is the cornerstone upon which any foundation of a child's lifelong learning is built. It has a profound impact on the cognitive, social, and emotional development of any child, and it lays the groundwork of any prosperous society. I don't know of any country in the world that wants to be considered prosperous that does not pay the utmost attention to early childhood education. As Vice President of the Jamaica Association of the Principals of Secondary Schools here in Jamaica, I would like to also purport that we give our 100% support to rethinking the funding of education, paying far more emphasis on early childhood education. As a secondary school principal, I am very blessed to be among the elite educators of this country who get students through my hallowed halls who sometimes are functioning up to 7 grade levels below where they need to be. I also have the privilege of welcoming children who are reading 3, 4, and 5 years above their grade level. This means that there is a wide range of abilities at the secondary level. As we discuss funding education today, I want us to be mindful that in Jamaica, over 97% of all youngsters actually go to school in some kind of early childhood institution. Almost all our children are exposed to some level of stimulation. Stimulated in what? To do what? By whom? For how long? Go back home to what? To be produced and shaped into what? Becomes things that we have to talk about. But all of this requires funding. Today we have assembled a distinguished panel of experts in their own right to share their thoughts as leaders with various backgrounds. On our panel, Dr. Adrian Stokes is a former Commonwealth scholar and a graduate of the University of Manchester, where he obtained his doctorate in international finance. He has a master's with distinction and a Bachelor of Science, first-class honors in economics from the University of the West Indies. He is currently co-founder and CEO of Qantas Financial Group, an innovative asset management business. He's a director of the Development Bank of Jamaica and chairman of the Education Transformation Committee, the committee that is tasked with overseeing the transformation of the education system. As past vice president of the Private Sector Organization of Jamaica and former chairman of its Economic Policy Committee, as well as past president of the Insurance Association of Jamaica, Dr. Stokes is a leading commentator on the Jamaican economy and has been at the center of a number of private sector-led initiatives to improve Jamaica. So he brings to us that perspective. Ms. Casey Akar is the CEO of the National Parenting Support Commission. This is a corporate body and an agency of the Ministry of Education and Youth, and she leads the implementation of national parenting support policy directives throughout the entire country and coordinates services that are provided to parents to help in the development of parenting skills. She's held several positions and brings to us a wealth of knowledge from both her private and public sector engagements, having played a critical part in shaping the responsibilities of this organization and providing special education services for a more inclusive education sector. Ms. Carr is no stranger to having tough conversations about parenting. She's also no stranger to us as an advocate for the support of parents. Mrs. Carolyn Clark Brown, chairman of the JTA's Early Childhood Committee, is also principal of Providence Heights Infant School. That's right here in Montego Bay, St. James. Her school has over 200 students, and she's no stranger to this sector, having served for over 20 years, 10 years as a principal. She's a part-time lecturer as well in early childhood education and holds a master's degree in reading and language arts, as well as certification in primary education and early childhood education. She's very passionate about education and is no stranger to moving out of her school into the community, even under challenging circumstances like during COVID, where she took her teachers to go find the children. Miss Sidna Amor is an educator with over 30 years of experience. Me tell her she lie. And not no go so. But I feel that when you serve like that, God blesses you to just look like you're aging backwards. With over 30 years of experience, she is not only certified in early childhood education, but also in the teaching of reading. She has a wealth of experience teaching infants, teaching children, especially ages 3 to 5, and she has also worked with adults in literacy development. So you can see we have a range of perspectives on our panel. Are we ready to have what I like to call hot conversations? Honest, open, transparent conversations. So we're going to keep the conversations hot. We are going to ensure that we listen keenly, and there will be room for you to share your ideas, your thoughts, and your questions. To our panelists, I'd like to start off by you giving us your idea of what are those demands in early childhood education as we are traversing this 21st century. Your idea of the demands and the expectations for early childhood education during this 21st century. Dr. Stokes, would you like to start?
Okay. Afternoon, everyone. So, I can't but help noticing the female-male ratio in this room. And it is so unbalanced. It reminds me of what I see also at the university. in terms of the students that are going into the university. It's almost female, sorry, and males are really nowhere to be found. And in a way, it's kind of also reflective of the crisis that we're facing in our country, and especially with our boys. And but that's for a different discussion, and I hope that the JTA will take that on frontally. Let me start by thanking the JTA for its kind invitation to speak on this important topic. It hopefully will add to the body of information that we have on early childhood education, and importantly, will help to move or to drive the momentum that is underway with the transformation of education in Jamaica. As you know, there is significant thrust that is being placed on the education system in Jamaica. And as chairman of ETOC, the Education Transformation Oversight Committee, we're working very closely with the Ministry of Education and indeed all relevant stakeholders to transform education in Jamaica. I am very, very confident that we will be successful. We have been working very hard to put in place the infrastructure to drive sustainable change. When I think of the question that you asked, I can't but help to answer it by thinking through what I call industrial revolutions. So, industrial revolutions usually have two important components. One component is a technology, right? The development of a technology. And the second component is the application of that technology to drive economic output and indeed to transform the society. So if you look at the first industrial revolution, that was about mechanization of still not getting it, but if you can hear me, I'll just go ahead. So the first industrial revolution was about
Try the other, Dr. Stokes.
All right. So the first was about the mechanization of the production process. The second was about the discovery of electricity, and importantly, the creation of the combustion engine, right? So we created planes and cars and so on. And those things have been hugely influential in shaping societies. The third, obviously, was around computers and the embedding of electronics in the production process. And the fourth, we're actually living through it. It's about artificial intelligence and robotics, and indeed figuring out how humans will coexist and indeed utilize artificial intelligence and robotics to drive economic development and change that is meaningful to our society. So that's where we're headed. And then the question then is, what are the competencies that are required to function effectively in the fourth industrial revolution and the one that will come next? And it seems to me that there are at least 3 competencies that we will need to possess. We need to improve our analytical capabilities. That's very, very important. We need to improve our intellectual curiosity. And we also need to be more flexible with our thought. Some of us are possibly not going to be well suited or have the aptitude for all of the 3 things that I've mentioned. And so it's very, very important that we focus on the children, the kids. And that's where I see that the emphasis on early childhood education is absolutely important.
Absolutely.
Because as you know, the brain, I mean kids, very, very important at that stage is, you know, the people genes and your environment. And obviously having the right environment at that age is going to be fundamental.
Thank you.
So those are my initial comments.
Thank you so much. Analytical capabilities, intellectual curiosity, and thought flexibility. Early childhood education spans birth to? Listen. Birth to? So if it is that we are thinking about the period of life that we're living through, Miss Carr, you see me looking directly at you. You know I'm coming right to you, right? Absolutely. What do you think would be the role of the National Parenting Support Commission as we think about shaping, reshaping, and advancing early childhood education?
Shaping, reshaping, advancing early childhood education. Yes?
Yes.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much, JTA, for organizing this conference and for inviting me to be a part of this important discussion at this time. 0 to 8 years, most critical of any developmental period of any human being. I want to start by saying that the early childhood years have always been very interesting given the fact that you have the 0 to 3 period, and you have the 3 to 6 period, and then you have 6 to 8, when at age 6, children actually transition from ECIs or infant schools into primary school. So it's always been very interesting for us to look at. In terms of the National Parenting Support Commission and the role we play, it's a very critical one because parents literally parent, for the most part, the way they were parented. And they also parent based on the information that they have. So we have to ensure that we're playing a more proactive role by reaching parents actually even before they become parents. And it's the reason our act and our policy is crafted the way it is and our policy goals are stated the way they are, because policy goal number 1 actually says all Jamaicans make wise choices about becoming parents and make parenting a priority. So the idea is that we really ought to be proactive in reaching the prospective parent so that there is a plan for parenthood. The most important undertaking of anybody is what you will do to nurture and develop a child. We're concerned, therefore, with ensuring that we're building the skill sets and the capacities of persons before they enter into parenthood, and also those who are new to parenthood and those who have been parents for a long time too, because even those who have been parents for a long time will still need to build their own capacities to ensure they're responding to present day needs. The Commission, therefore, has been working very closely with the early childhood sector to ensure we have access, or we give access to parents through places we call parent places. We have a number of these attached to ECIs. It's a universal entrance point. In other words, there is no prerequisite. As long as you have an interest in parenting or you're already a parent, you can access information there, because it's the information and the education and the retooling that is going to drive what you do in parenting. 0 to 3, as you know, is the most important period in terms of brain development. Our parents need to be armed with information to understand what the home should look like in terms of stimulation, in terms of socialization, in terms of play. What are they supposed to be doing at home to ensure that by the time they get out to you at age 3, they have some information and they're stimulated and ready to absorb what it is you'll be teaching them. And so that is a role we have to play. We have been scaling up our presence at the clinics, for example, to ensure we're reaching the prospective moms. We are scaling up our presence in the high schools because In Jamaica, we believe that the prospective parent is age 9. It doesn't mean that 9-year-olds are having sex. It means they're exposed to sexual material from as early as age 9. And if you're exposed to sexual material about sex and sexuality as early as age 9, it could spark your curiosity. So we believe that we also have to be talking to grades 4 to 6 students about parenting in an age-appropriate language so that they understand from an early stage what parenting involves. It's a very complex set of skills that have to be developed over to ensure that they reflect the different ages and stages of a child's development. Let's face it, the way you parent 0 to 3 would be very different from the way you parent a teenager.
Absolutely.
It's a whole different set of information. The way you parent a 15-year-old in particular, where there is that prefrontal cortex is growing so fast, there's a whole lot of information that they want to act on. So the way you parent during those years would be very different. And so we have to make sure we're giving parents information at each age and stage of development so that they're able to be more effective in practice.
Thank you so much. From as early as age 9, we need to start considering, thinking about this conversation of choosing to be a parent. And then they have the children. I should know I have a couple who are fathers in grade 7 and 8. Which Jamaica are you living in? Or is just my Jamaica that we have teen parenting being a thing? Is it just my Jamaica colleagues that we have teen parenting being a thing? No, it's not. So you do know that before a child graduates from high school, they may have a child graduating from basic school. And so it behooves us at the secondary school level as well to start thinking about those parent support programs that we put in place for our teen mothers and our teen fathers. But as a school administrator, you are on the ground, bridging that gap between policy, the community, the teachers, and the students. Mrs. Clark-Brown, as an administrator, what are some of the challenges that you are having in ensuring quality outcomes for your students? And could you give us an indication of how does money play into that as well?
Good afternoon, everyone. That's a very interesting question because I believe the matter of funding is an issue that bemoans almost all ECIs. We have our infant schools, our infant departments, basic schools, preschools, kindergartens. We have quite a number of different categories that cater to the same age group of students, and funding becomes an issue regardless of different issues based on the type of institutions. I am at an infant school, and some of the challenges I face at infant school regarding to funding is having enough resources in the ECI, and I'm talking about physical resources and also in terms of human power, and also, in terms of material for the teachers to use, and also person resources. There are some categories of workers we would want some more in our ECIs. For example, janitors. I have 200 students with one janitor.
So that would present its own slew of challenges.
Yes, yes. And the funds, as you know, it's a government school, so that you can't spend the funds as you would like to spend it.
I think this is the part where the church says, amen?
There isn't, you don't charge a fee, so we are solely dependent on whatever the government gives to us.
Is there a particular reason that fees are not, or contributions are not? What's the impact of that? I mean, isn't everything free?
No, everything is not free. We don't have security at school. At my school, I'm talking about from my experience. I don't have a security at school. We don't have one in our establishment. So funding there becomes an issue because if we are to get a security, we don't have the funds to pay. right? So that's in terms of like human resources. We would also want to have more caregivers in the classroom. Well, currently, I have 9 teachers and 7 caregivers. So I would probably want 2 more because they're small children, to balance it, right? So that becomes another issue, right? As an administrator, I don't have any help in the office. So I am the bursar, I am the principal, I am everything. I am the guidance counselor. There are some infant schools with guidance counselors. I don't have one. So the principal has all that work to do, right? So we would want some more human capital in that area. And then to the matter of resources now in the classroom for the teachers to work with, because we do answer to the Early Childhood Commission and the Ministry of Education at the same time. The requirements for the Early Childhood Commission is somewhat different from the requirements of the Ministry of Education, right? So if the commission comes and gives us a report and we go to the ministry, you probably hear, you know, there are schools with more needs than yours, right? So it's a matter of we don't have the kind of funding to do what we would want. Some of the requirements from the commission, though, is reasonable, because if we're moving towards standards, so as my school is not providing better quality than another school, because we want to provide quality education
To
for
all children.
children.
Mhm.
And so the standards are there for a particular reason, so that all schools can be operating at a particular standard.
Could you give us an
right?
indication of the amount of money that you get per student, roughly, if you have an idea of that? We know at the secondary level we get about $17,000 for the year, $19,000 if the students are registered on PATH, so we get $2,000 more for them. Would that be standard across?
No, we don't get
Okay.
that.
So at the early childhood level,
No, we don't get more. We get less than that.
okay. From the floor, we're hearing $100,000 thereabout for about 100 and something students. We can, for 200 students. Okay. We are making a note, and when we open the floor to having further dialogue from the floor, we're going to be digging into it a little bit more. But as a teacher, Mr. Moore, could you give us an indication of operating? We just heard from Dr. Stokes talking about where education is, where the world is going, and all of these competencies that we need in the 21st century. Ms. Carr gave us an indication of the National Parent Support Commission and their role in ensuring that parents plan their parenting, or persons plan to become parents, and that they understand the 3 distinct stages in early childhood. We've heard from our administrator talking to us about some of the challenges that she's facing. But as a teacher, can you give us your perspective on what you think, what support you think the early childhood sector truly needs, so that in your classroom, you'll be feeling that impact and be able to push even more, accomplish even more?
Good afternoon, everyone. I must tell you that I was called upon this morning, and so I don't know if it's because I'm enough, why, you know, but I must say that I am happy that I am here today, or for the 3 days. I'm very, very grateful, and I'm here because of my perseverance, right? So, the question, I must say to you that, let me see the hands of all the basic school teachers that are here, please. Good. So I'll get some support. All right. So when it comes on to the support that we need in the early childhood institution, one, the gravest thing is salary. Salary, because most of the basic schools, we only have one trained teacher to each school. And so we have like hard trainees, or if you're employed, you're doing the job and you're not being paid. So if the principal is giving you, for example, $20,000 per month, and ECC is giving 30,000 or 20,000, as soon as that is given to the teacher, the head of the institution takes away part of the money that you're getting, because you're getting 20 from ECC, so it breaks it down to less than what you would have been getting, right? So that's a big challenge. And so I think that I'm asking JTA to step in and assist us. And when I'm saying us, although I'm really the trained teacher at my school, so I get a salary from Ministry of Education. But, and I must explain this to you, that it's heart-rendering when you see the school is, we're turning over teachers. Like, you have a term where maybe 3 persons leave because of salary. They are not being paid for the job. And so I think it's really hard on the institutions because we are pressured.
All right, thank you. I hear you talking about the salary, and we've made a note to dig a little bit more into that because of the complexities of the early childhood sector. And for those of us, especially those who may be listening in online or those who may be listening in physically, it's incredibly important that the rest of Jamaica truly understands the early childhood sector and what is happening at early childhood. We're going to allow for comments based on the salary and how it works. However, in addition to salary, is there any other resource at the classroom level that you think funding could improve or increase that would make the job better for you, provide you with better working conditions, provide you with things that you may need to be able to improve the rate at which children are learning?
Yes, we could do good with extra, well, not extra, but the grants, right? If we get grants, then like increasing the grants to the schools, then at least we could do much better, because we need resources for the classrooms. Resources are very, very limited. We know that we are moving into the 21st century, and then we will soon leave 21st century, going into 2030. And we have schools that don't even have a laptop. We don't have tablets. The children...
Okay, colleagues,
right?
colleagues. All right, so I hear you talking about the resources, including the ICTs. I'd love to hear from Dr. Stokes. You sit as chairman of ETOC. Based on the outcomes of the Patterson report, what are some changes or initiatives that you think will need to happen to re-emphasize this national focus on early childhood? From where you sit, we'd love to hear your perspective.
All right, thank you. So there are a number of, and I pulled out my phone because there are a number of initiatives under the early childhood sector, initiatives that are being monitored for implementation by ETOC. So what we have done, we have summarized the initiatives under 3 broad categories. So we have short-term measures, medium and longer-term measures, right? In the short term, and short term here means will implementation, if not completion, will occur within a 2 to 3 year span. And I've listed some of the measures here. There are about 16 short-term measures. I'm going to list some of them. So there will be a comprehensive review of the Early Childhood Commission. There is an initiative to look at the remuneration within the sector. That will be coupled with a robust performance management appraisal system. But that is well understood. It's an initiative that has gotten a lot of feedback and useful insights over the last several months, and that is something that is slated to be implemented. The laws guiding early childhood, the early childhood sector, I should say, will be reviewed. The quality of early childhood development services in low-income communities in particular, these are to be improved. So the certain sections of the society will be targeted with a bigger emphasis on low-income communities. Measures to improve the quality of pre-service and in-service teachers at the early childhood level, measures will be implemented there. So again, this is a big focus. Programs targeting parents and the general public, again, will be implemented, and this to support children, especially with disabilities and special needs, right? So this is something that has been flagged to ensure that there is equity in the system, and children with disabilities or special needs are not left behind.
Critical.
Improving the quality of the working environment, not just in the ECIs, but at the Early Childhood Commission is also slated as a priority area for transformation. So these are just some of the measures that we're tracking. And I must say, and I want to give ETOC's commitment that we are very confident that the recommendations will be implemented. We have spent a lot of time to create an infrastructure, an implementation infrastructure that will drive the sustainable execution of the initiatives. And I'm very, very confident
it is really good
the
to
measures
hear
that we
you.
have will be implemented.
It's really good to hear you say that. I do know that in the Patterson report, there is a fiscal section that does speak about the need to actually cost education. Has ETOC advanced that particular conversation to come into a real market cost on what it takes to truly educate a child to quality at the early childhood level?
So we haven't as yet gone to the granular level of what it will take to certainly at the level of the child, what is sufficient. We, however, have an overall budget for the transformation of education in Jamaica.
Yes.
Right? So a lot of work was done there. We have the budget running over multiple periods, I think 9 to 10 years. The recommendation has in fact gone to cabinet. It has been approved by cabinet. In other words, the government has committed to funding the transformation in not a piecemeal way, but in a comprehensive way, right? So the funding will be provided not just for one period, but for multiple periods.
Thank you so much. We do recognize, though, that the funding actually proposed versus in the Patterson report versus that which was submitted to cabinet has a significant gap. We do recognize the government's efforts to fund transformation within the current fiscal space of the country. These elements of funding, Ms. Carr, the role of parents, in your view, in ensuring that the early childhood sector gets greater support. How do you see parents, what do you think that parents could do to further improve the learning conditions that their children will be faced with?
Wow, that's a very interesting question, especially given that the National Parenting Support Commission does have a specific focus on supporting parents in vulnerable populations. So if it is that a parent is in the upper echelon and is ineffective in practice, it's an easier sell for us to say we can recommend that that person seeks on his or her own those support services that they can pay for. We concentrate mostly on those persons who do not have the resources, which is why we are coordinating entity, which makes your question very interesting because many of our parents are grappling with the day-to-day, finding the resources that they need that based on our policy they're supposed to find to ensure that their children are cared for.
So we're talking about breakfast, we're talking about
Right.
transportation to school, we're talking about the basics to keep the children alive and going to school.
And many of our or parents, they have children or they themselves are part of the government of Jamaica's social protection system. So it makes it very interesting. What I would want to say though is the more we empower parents to upskill, then what I find is that if we work with heart, for example, to look at what interests they have, what skills they have that they need certification in, and use those skills to promote a sense of industry, to work and earn, it does help and give them more ability to contribute in meaningful ways to their children's education. So that within the early childhood sector, whatever provisions they would need to ensure their children are grasping and are learning, then those provisions will be there. So I think we do have a concentration in ensuring that the parents are empowered themselves so that they can then provide the resources. But at this point, it's difficult to say, given that I am very aware of the populations that we concentrate on, that they really, at this time, really don't have it.
How about participation in even fundraising activities, giving labor instead of cash?
Well, that's where I was looking at now, that the contributions would not necessarily be limited to financial contributions. There are other ways to participate. So schools will have projects from time to time if they could give up their labor in those areas. Sit and understand what it is that the teachers are hoping to achieve in terms of the objectives of the curricula that are used in the early childhood sector. If they empower themselves in those ways to help their children at home in terms of grasping content, that helps because then it removes certain burdens.
Absolutely.
If they're socializing their children, helping them to develop good character traits, that certainly helps so that by the time they get to you, then the readiness is there for learning. So in those other ways is, I think, what we're really pushing and working on.
I was very excited when you said helping with homework, helping to set the right conditions at home, helping to help with the character development and value system of the children. That is incredibly important. Have you ever found that children, like parents, lack sometimes resilience? When they hit upon challenges, they quit. That is something that can be developed from home as well. As an administrator,
but I want to talk a little bit about that because psychology will tell you that that too is called learned helplessness. With the vulnerable populations, you find that they're exposed to trauma over and over again, and sometimes it's the same trauma. And after a while, they learn to be helpless because you keep bouncing back, because you are only resilient after something bad has happened. Resilience is your ability to bounce back. But when you are faced with the determinants of effective parenting, which include poverty and crime, so sometimes it's not that parents don't know, is that given the environment or the context in which they operate, there are other factors that impact their ability to be as effective as they want. And so when you have situations like crime and poverty that you have to keep bouncing back from almost on a daily basis, it wears on you, and before you know it, you feel helpless. So if you were to tie this conversation to even what you heard before when a father says, take my child, I can't be bothered. Sometimes it's not necessarily that the child is operating outside of what a child at that age or stage should be doing, but it's the other frustrations around that cause them to feel helpless. and want to give up.
Agreed 100%. Over my own 24 years working in many different Jamaicas, because the truth is, there are many Jamaicas. What do you think is your role as an administrator, Mrs. Clark Brown, in supporting teachers in being able to understand the fiscal space that you operate in and the social space that you operate in so that they can produce at their utmost, their highest, and give support to the children?
Okay, so as an administrator, certainly in my school, I'm very transparent with my staff members so they understand what we are going through, right? So when we have our staff meetings, I share with them what we have and how we are going to spend it. They actually help with the budgeting because I want everybody's input so they know what we have. And since as administrators we are tasked with, indirectly we are tasked with doing our fundraisers, I know it's my teachers, it's my staff who I'm going to have to depend on. And so it is prudent that I am very transparent with them so they know what it is we are working towards. Because we want to give the children the best quality of education. And regardless of our shortcomings, we work hard at it. So I'm very transparent with them. I take their suggestions, and it's something that we work on together. It can't be a one-man show. True. And I also include my parents. I don't leave them out. I'm also transparent to my parents, so they know what is happening. I can remember one day, I'm just going to share a little story that a lot of administrators will say they can't get anything from the parents, they can't get anything. I say you need to be transparent with them, you need to let them know what is happening. And so when I told my parents about the sink in the kitchen that was falling down on the cooks, and I said, after the meeting, I want you to go down there and look at it because we want to change it. And that very morning, they raised enough money to change it, to knock it out completely and put in something else. So we have to partner with the parents on some of for the funding. It is hard because, as I said, we are in a community where they're not rich. They're not rich. And we have children coming from low socioeconomic, they can't afford it. And as you mentioned, they would provide manpower. So I have a bank of volunteers that sometimes they just come in to sit in the class so we can meet the student-teacher ratio because we're not meeting it. So we have a bank of volunteers. All they need to do is do their medical. So we have them do their medicals and they come in when they have the time available. So we have to work with them to try and cut back. Because as we say, everything is not monetary. Even though you need money to do it, but if we can find the human capital to do it, then fine.
Absolutely.
So that's what we do.
It costs, if you don't have $5,000 to $8,000, don't call a plumber to look at anything. If you don't have $5,000 to $8,000, don't call an electrician. So if a parent is an electrician and they come and they look at it, they wouldn't be able to give you $5,000, but they will definitely save you $5,000 to $8,000. At this time, we'd like to open the floor. There are microphones that are available, and we ask that you indicate your desire to speak or move directly to where the microphones will be. While you're making your way to the microphones, could we... All right, so the microphone is coming. Just a reminder that we are looking at prioritizing early childhood education, getting it right from the start. Okay, we have our first speaker up. Just identify yourself and your question or comment.
Great morning, everyone.
Good morning. Well, good afternoon, actually.
Well, boy, it's always morning for me. Sunshine never stops. Halima Jackson Wilkins, principal of Wilbert Stewart Basic School, that's in East Kingston. I have 319 children on roll, and I supervise a staff of 26 individuals. Now, the conversation is being had about funding. We all know it. We have been speaking about it, but I don't know what we're doing concerning funding in the early childhood schools. I am a basic school principal. Love it, you see? I love it. And people deem me as a transformational leader. This is why I understand that there is a narrative that says, happy classroom, happy children. But what works for me is happy teacher, happy classroom, happy children. I had a set of teachers. When I got to the school, I was at one basic school. I transferred to another one. And I want you to listen, you know, because my experience has taught me that when you take care of the practitioners, when you get money and funding, you have no time, but me have to taught this guy working. It's working for me. And I want the panelists, especially the gentleman who is on the educational transformational
Dr.
committee,
Stokes,
to get it. When I began to invest in the practitioners, heart level NTA practitioners, when I began to allow them to feel like they were someone, they were valued, I saw different results. I saw them moving. I saw the school changing and transforming. I pulled parents together. We were able to do projects. I got that school with about $50,000. Now I spend $2 million a month. And that's not with the help of ECC. It's about collaboration, collaborating with my parents and allowing the community to know that people over here doing something for the nation. Now I want the persons that are under the sound of my voice to understand. Stop talking about the funding up here. Bring it down here. Bring it to us. Because when the money is there, you can do more. You are doing more for this vulnerable set. The foundation, these little citizens, which will be tomorrow's future. We can't keep talking about it and not doing anything. It has worked for me. I mean, I have 2 other trained teachers at my school. But most of the teachers that I have, they are level 1, level 2 rather, level 3. But when I begin to work with them in that space, the results that I get, I have children who are reading. Primary school say, I want them. Send your children now. It wasn't so before I got there. But it's happening now because the money are coming and we can do a little bit more.
Thank you so much for sharing.
We need to get it right.
My philosophy is, if you feed the teachers, they won't eat the children.
Members of the panelists and ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon.
Good
Mr.
afternoon.
Stokes, I have 2 questions for you. You spoke about implementation, but you have not given us any timeline or any follow-up how the follow-up process will take place. And if you give us information and there is no implementation timeline, we will just getting information and we are not sure where we will be. So I will leave that for you to address.
Thanks for that. So we actually report on a quarterly basis on implementation and timelines around the execution of the various initiatives. And we can share, in fact, the implementation schedule for all of the initiatives that will be executed under the transformation program. So, in fact, I think that's something that the JTA should and can take up, right? We have a Gantt chart that outlines on an annual basis, in fact, on a quarterly basis, the initiatives sub-initiatives, you know, which sector, where, when, all of that information is there. So in fact, I think the JTA really should take it on, and I mean, we try to put it out there, but I'm sure the JTA has a very tight-knit communication apparatus that can help with, you know, disseminating that information. But the information is there.
Thank you very much, sir. I also going to direct this to you, but I would love the JTA president in the near future to address this. My school, I apologize and sympathize with all of you who are suffering financially, but I have been an investor since I went into that program, so I am not really suffering like many of you. But one of the things that I am concerned with is the fact that I have a number of trained teachers within my setting, and I cannot get them to be registered with the government to be paid as a trained teacher, and they are college trained in early childhood. And one other main thing is that the principals who operate early childhood schools have those schools, some of those schools have more children than even the infant department. Because my school have 230 odd, and the principal is paid not as a principal. They demand so much from us. I can tell you, you do the financial statement, you do the statutory deduction, you do all the administrative work. And at that point, you are still not paid as a principal. When you retire, you go home less than the dog that lost the bone when he saw in the water. You can't help yourself. So I believe if you are saying that early childhood education is the key, and the beginning, I have students leaving my school reading at grade 6 level, but they go into primary schools, right? And these teachers are working and they're not able, they spend money to study, and when they come back, they're not getting anything. One last point.
One moment, please. Thank you so much for sharing those 3 areas. There is someone behind you, and I do know that many members of the panel will, once they're able to, remain available for the conversation. We also have the president who will take the podium. So if it is a matter, no, sorry. We promise hot conversations, honest, open, and transparent conversations. And the JTA has strategically moved to strengthen and bolster the base of success in this country, the early childhood sector. And so that's what we're focusing on today. Our final commentator, go ahead, sir.
Thank you.
Two more. Unfortunately, because of time, I have been given the time signal. What I can do, though, is that we can facilitate the continued conversation after we wrap up this session and provide an avenue for you to have the matters aired. Dr. Chin and colleagues.
All right. Thank
Go
you.
ahead, Mr.
Thank you,
McNamee.
Dr. Chin. Eaton McNamee, Principal, Broadleaf Primary and Infant in Manchester. I was recently, I don't even know the term. I adopted an infant department because I'm primary trained, and we were merged, and I now have an infant department. I have 2 entities that I report to, or I should report to. There is the ECC and there is the MOE. 2 different set of people to deal with.
No, it's MOE. Why?
MOEI. I am confused. On track as for them to come together. I don't know if there's anything under the
ETA?
Yeah, under ETA that will address such
reporting relationships, Dr.
That will address such. Also too, sir, the payment. As a teacher just mentioned, you find that there are trained teachers in the infant department who are being paid, and my God, I almost cried when I found that out. God knows there is absolutely no way you can have someone who has gone through 4 years of training and taking home $30,000. Not even an helper takes home so much. So something definitely has to be done about that. My heart pains me when I realize that that is what was happening in the system. Thanks be to God, I changed that at my institution. If you want to find out, check me later.
Thank you so much. I am in conversation with the president, who is going to be coming up to speak. And of course, in his usual fashion, if he is able to, he will make an effort to facilitate the other questions and the other comments. All right, ladies and gentlemen, members of the panel, I'd like to thank Mrs. Carolyn Clark Brown, Chairman of the Early Childhood Committee and Jamaica Teachers Association, and Principal. I'd like to also thank Ms. Amor, Educator at the early childhood level, Ms. Casey Akar, CEO for the National Parenting Support Commission, and Dr. Stokes, Chairman for the Education Transformation and Oversight Committee. The 3 levels of skills that we need moving forward: analytical capabilities, intellectual curiosity, thought flexibility. As we move into parenting, we must encourage persons to plan to become parents or not. We must understand the phases of early childhood and what is required. Start the conversation early in an age-appropriate manner. Ensure that planned parenting becomes the focus and not accidental parenting. Provide greater support for character development for both the parents so that they too can have this stimulated in their homes. Recognize that the Education Transformation Oversight Committee is focused on ensuring that the recommendations of the Patterson Report are implemented. And let's hold ETAC accountable for the review of remuneration, the review of the Early Childhood Commission, the review of performance management, quality, pre- and in-service provisions for teachers, services to our parents in low-income communities, public and parent education programs, and ensuring that every teacher who works in any school in the country is working in a conducive work environment. Like I like to say, it is only good enough for the children if it is first good enough for the adults in that space, because we depend on the adults to take care of the children. Ladies and gentlemen, we are aware that there'll never be enough money. There'll never be enough money, but it doesn't mean that we mustn't try to aim for enough money and to use what we have well. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give our distinguished panelists a round of applause. Thanks so much for the comments. And at this time, I return control of the lectern to none other than our very own Dr. Margaret Chin, Assistant Secretary General.
Thank you, Mrs. Jones. Can we give her another round of applause? She did an excellent job. And I really want to thank our panelists, Dr. Adrian Stokes, who came from Kingston. Ms. Keisha Carr also drove in from Kingston. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts. It's a small token, but we hope that you will treasure it as a token of our appreciation. So we're wrapping up now, because we have to get out of here. But we have 2 exhibitors who want to give away gifts. And I don't want them to go back to Kingston with the gifts. So we're going to ask White Rain Publishing to come and do their giveaways. And then TIP will come and give away some gift baskets. So, Sir Paul, over to you. When we're finished, our president will just come and address us, and we'll do the benediction and go on our way home. Can we give him a round of applause?
Members of the JTA, teachers, good afternoon. My name is Paul Marsh. I am from White Rain Publishing. We are publishers of the brand Let's Learn Together books. And we have been around for just 6 years, but we are holding traction in the market and making an impact. I have been to many of your schools. Many of you know me, I know you. One of our mantra, quickly, is not just to go out and sensitize on the books, but also to get teachers' feedback. What do you want to see in the text? What is it that we have in there that you think we can improve on? And we have taken some of these ideas and impact them in our books. Now, there are quite a few teachers who saw me on the outside. They came to my booth. Thank you for that. And I want to quickly, the first K3 teacher that can reach me will get our math. Oh my God. No. Yes, I'm going to give her one also. Come on the other side, please. Come on the other side. So this is the math. And this is the phonics.
Thank you.
Do we have any Spanish teacher for the 5-year-old in here? Is there any school that is thinking about doing Spanish? That hand.
We do Spanish.
And 4-year-old. It's a 4-year-old.
Thank you.
Don't worry yourself. I'll give you a, don't worry yourself.
Thank you.
Turn it around for the camera. Teachers, on behalf of Mr. Gary White and Mrs. White from White Rain, our CEO and COO, we want to thank you for working with us these 6 years. And believe me when I say to you, this is just the beginning of what White Rain is planning on doing. JTA, we would like to partner with you in the way moving forward. Our teachers in our school need our help, and you can help us to help them. Thank you all very much. Have a good afternoon.
Thank you so much, Sir Paul. Can I have tip now? And I see goodies over. Somebody's going to have a very Merry Christmas. 2 people I see so far will be having a very Merry Christmas. Over to you, miss.
Can I have somebody who is... Come, Dr. Chin. Come, Dr. Chin. So on behalf of all those who did business, and I must first say, yesterday I did not introduce myself. So I don't know why, but my name is Keisha Cunningham, Business Development Officer for Region 4. Any Region 4 in here? Woo! Okay, Region 4, I see you. So for those who decided to join TIP, I want to thank you and I want to welcome you. I need to see which one of you will be going home. It's not shaking properly. All right, so we're going to throw it out. Hey, on a serious boat, on a gift, you know? Bad, bad. All right, it's fair, it's fair, it's fair. All right, so Dr. Chin is shaking it up, shaking it and shaking it up. All right. So just for transparency, Majesty Gardens, Shanette McIntosh. I had warned you guys earlier, you must be in here if your name is called. If you're not here, I will have to choose another name. So Shanette from Majestic Gardens. She's not here. One, going once, going twice, and she gone. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, darling. I'm so sorry. She gonna cuss me? No, she gonna cuss me. Delores Grant from Hemingway. Yay! And Hemingway is located in Montego Bay. Welcome, Miss Hemingway. She running. Who is it? So, she has a choice. Would you like the basket or would you like the juicer? If you take the juicer, Miss, I want my vegetable juice every morning. She wants the juicer or the basket? Okay. Guys, can we give her a clap, please? So on behalf of Tip Friendly Society, we welcome you and thank you so much. Welcome to Tip. Ladies and gentlemen, you know, so she manifested it. She claimed it to them and she claimed it. All right, so our last prize, a matter of fact, we'll be having, I'm going to do one more, all right? I'm going to do one more giveaway. This is for any existing member, Miss raise her hand, that did business today, that would have maybe topped up their savings or topped up their insurance. EBA kindergarten prep. Anybody from EBA in here? EBA. Miss, did I call your name? Is your name Crystal? Come on, Miss Poyser. Yes, Miss Poyser. So Crystal Poyser Gray, thank you so much for being a TIP member. We value your business. And Miss, you get up on her own. Come, Miss, come. Guys, give her a clap for me now, please. One random name. Choose one more name. I'm just going to give one more prize. That's a random gift, right? And this is because, guys, we really... Okay, Miss, all right. So when I said random, I meant from the raffle, right? But Miss, I love your determination, so big up yourself. I'll give you something when I go outside. All right? Oh, she wants a picture, so come on. Ladies and gentlemen, give her a clap for me now. Yes, that's something like what you know what you want and you come for what you want, don't? All right, so to the last person, Mrs. Samuels Perry from Colloded Infant in Westmoreland. Yes, Mrs. Perry. So, her gift is outside. Can I get a second to get it, guys, so she can get it in the picture? 1 second.
I see we're closing off on a high note. Mrs. waiting on her gift. While we wait for our rep to come back, please remember that there is an evaluation form that has been sent to you via a link. Please complete. We'll be sending your certificates to the regional offices so you can check them for your participation certificates. All right, your certificate of participation. Wonderful.
Everybody saw me earlier and was asking for this. So now ask Mrs. Perry for it now. So congratulations, Mrs. Perry. To make it fair, who can tell me what tip means? Guys. Tip, T-I-P. Who can raise their hand? Miss in the yellow?
Teacher investment production. No.
She said teacher's income protector. That is it, right? But not tip member, I don't know what teacher income protector. All right. Miss, you're getting enough. You're good. I'm sorry, Miss. When were we incepted? What is our anniversary day? Not at all. September what? 20 what? I hear the 20 come in. Mr. 26, come get your bag. Come get your bag. In what year? 19 what? In what year, ladies? In what year? 1997. It's the same year I leave high school. All right, one last thing. Please name one person to name our 4 branches. Anybody can raise their hand and come right here, so, and name the 4 branches. Come, miss, come. Ma'am, say Kingston, Ocherius, Manchester. But you said Montego Bay already? All right, so Mandeville, Ocherius. We feel like I said Montego enough time. So Kingston, Montego Bay, Mandeville, and Ocherius, right? All right. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all. Have a wonderful weekend. If you can visit any of our branches, tomorrow we're having a little some in the branches. So refreshments, tokens, and if not, have a wonderful Christmas and have a very new year. I mean, a very happy new year. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So we're going to wrap up now. And I would also like to express my sincere thanks to you for staying the course too. And I trust that you had a wonderful conference. A lot of planning went into all of this. A lot of love went into all of this. And I hope you benefited from the 3 days that you have been here. So on behalf of the Professional Services Unit and the administration of the JTA, I really, really thank you from the bottom of my heart. And I'd like to ask our president now, Mr. Leighton Johnson, to close us off.
All right, good afternoon, colleagues. When the concept of this early childhood conference came, it is one that I became very excited about. I was very excited about it. On the premise that there has been so much talk about the early childhood sector. This conference year, we have decided to focus on impact. Whatever we do within the Jamaica Teachers Association ought to have an impact on its members. It also have an impact on the image of the association. The JTA is a member-based association, organization that continues to contribute positively to the development of education in our country. This conference is just another tool that we have used to pull our educators together with a view of ensuring that our sector, the sector of education, which is the saving grace of our nation, continues to do or fulfill its mandate. This is what we did over the last 3 days. This conference was also designed to provide opportunities for networking. We've heard so many good ideas being posited in this room. We ask educators, practitioners, that you leave with a number or two so that you can call a colleague who has invented the wheel already, so that you do not have to go through the process of reinventing the wheel. It is urgent and necessary that this is done. Additionally, there are other aspects to the conference and to the conversation that must continue. There is the talk that, of course, early childhood goes from 0 to 8. 8 years old is found in the primary schools, but yet still our primary students are treated as big children who do not need early childhood. That's between grades 1 and 3. This conversation has to continue. So therefore, look out for a one-day conference, a one-day workshop that will speak to bridging that gap, the transitioning period, what it is that we will have to do as practitioners to ensure that we secure a seamless progression for our students moving from kindergarten into primary school or into big school. Ladies and gentlemen, the conference was rich. I want to thank those persons who felt the need, who saw it necessary to close school for this professional development opportunity for your staff. To those boards who saw the need to sponsor teachers to be here. To those individuals who sponsored themselves and made the sacrifice. It was well worth it. Without you being here, then the conference planned by the JTA would not have been the resounding success that it is. I thank the administrative staff, the Professional Advancement Unit headed by the Assistant Secretary General, Dr. Margaret Chin, for supporting the cause, for understanding the mission, and for ensuring that the vision was indeed a success as we made it a reality. To the members of the Early Childhood Commission, headed by Mrs. Carolyn Brown, committee, sorry, I don't know, yeah, the committee, sorry. Yeah, the committee, the Early Childhood Committee of the Jamaica Teachers Association, who worked alongside with Dr. Chin in making this conference a really, real success. We thank you. For the members of the Professional Advancement and the Teacher Welfare Committee, the collaboration that took place between the chairman, Mrs. Jones, Mr. McNamee, other members of the team, We thank you for understanding the role and the vision and the importance of this conference, for putting it together and making it happen. The awards committee, thank you so much for leading that charge and ensuring that we demonstrated in a tangible way to the members of the Early Childhood Committee the importance of what they do. It was really a rich conference. To the streaming team, the communications arm, Mr. Nash and his team of technical operators and officers, we thank you so much for being here. To Andre, Mr. Morrison, who made the flow of communication seamless to you, we really, really, really say thank you. We owe you a debt of gratitude. Practitioners of the early childhood sector, thank you for understanding what we did here. Let the work you do continue. Do not be daunted by the magnitude of the task that confronts you. Instead, go now empowered as we continue to ride on what we started here. The mission and the vision continues. Ladies and gentlemen, the conference now is officially terminated. Oh, there's one activity. I invite Dr. Chin back to the podium.
There is a custom that we have in the JTA when we end our conferences, and we call it the verse. And it's just a summary of the 3 days done in verse style. And no other person can do this as well as Mr. Eden McNamee. Let's give him a hand as he does the verse.
All right, thank you, Dr. Chin. This is just reflection through the eyes of Ethan. If you get upset, just carry it to your stomach and take it out of your brain. Early childhood story come to bump. President Johnson pull out the stump. December 2023, inaugural early childhood conference spree. Monday morning, bright and early, teachers travel across the free from Moran Point to Negril Point, not to separate, but to become joint. Session began with a buzz, divine intervention sought from above. Roll out the program with Clayton Hall. Greetings, greetings, me think I did roll call. Guest speaker hold the crowd. Arguments sound, them just never loud. 4,312 trained teachers in the sector. Man, that was an eye-opening lecture. Dr. Margaret Chin did an overview. Conference set. This is not new. Providence Height, infant, oh, what a sight. I would sit and watch them all day and night. Plenary start, information secured. Parental involvement cannot be ignored. Literacy in the 21st century. We start them at the Brain Builders. Yes, it is free. Drop them off at age 2 and pick them up back when you think teacher is blue. Boy, teacher life hard you fetch. When you there walk, not even a 5 you can't catch. Day 2 we start with breakfast good. Man, me no know about uno, but me love me food. Though it might not show upon me still, me want tell you say, it come like one energy pill. Social and emotional learning was the topic. Man, when we analyze, we realize that some of them people are sick. Breakout session nice and clean. Man, the teachers were happy for what them glean. Maths come alive, we learned so much. Authentic assessment, man, me out of touch. Learning through play, that's the children's way. But we can take a page or two and apply it to a life. Because nobody benefit from that more than husband and wife. Money worries plague the system, man. That's why we write proposals and plan. In order to be a good digital citizen, cybersecurity must be in we acumen. Them talk about the developmental milestone. Man, now me understand why some of my colleagues them still so monotone. Encouragement sweeten labor. That's why we have the function last night for you and your neighbor. Man, it was a real pleasure to see my colleagues them get awards beyond measure. It seemed as if dancing was a part of the arrangement. Demonstrated dancically by our president. Man, it was a dancing spree. It took out Madam IPP and even our SecGen Mark Nicely. One thing me never understand. How is 13 women and just one dege man? Day 3 started on a spirited note. The question was asked, who is in your boat? Sparkling Minds was next in line. Oh yes, Davia was just fine. CPFSA, yes man, the rights of the child. Now argue that still, but it must go wild. But me want add to the plethora of acts. Teachers' protection, yes man, a straight facts. Panel discussion unearth a heap of things. That's why panel discussion unearth a heap of things. This year out, figure the teacher them wings. Them your conversation your hot. The panelists them just dish out the pot. Revitalized, rejuvenated, refreshed, and revived. Just some of the words to express the vibe. Fire in the educator's bone. No more will EC operate as monotone. Each of us has the responsibility to ensure that the Jamaican child become the best he or she can be. JTA is the ideal organization. We are right here to hold your hand. Finally, whether you are man or woman, join me and say EC conference did bad to Radam.
Pastor, what's the meaning of that word? Ladies and gentlemen, having heard in such a creative way a summary of the activities that took place here, again, you are all a part of history. Remember December 18 to 20, 2023, when the Jamaica Teachers Association made this possible. Ladies and gentlemen, our early childhood conference now stands terminated. Thank you.
Just 2 announcements. I was told to let the Clarendon people know that they're to stay behind. It's Clarendon, right? Right. And Dr. Mortley is asking you all if you can just visit to have a look at her books. And there's a message on my phone. Yes. He has the key to my phone, don't worry. Yes, I did mention about the evaluations that you need to fill them out. Donna Smith is in the room. Donna Smith, Cynthia Roach, Carlene Evans, and Patricia Ferguson.